Welcome to Kranky Live, the show where bold minds meet real talk. This isn't your average sports or news show. It's where we break down sports, culture, and controversy with facts, fire, and fearless honesty. Here, truth cuts through the noise, and hype gets exposed. From football to track and field, from world issues to local debates, we ask the tough questions, speak without fear, and go deeper than the headlines. We don't follow the crowd, we set the trend. While others recycle the same tired takes, we bring fresh insight, unfiltered analysis, and bold perspectives. No echo chambers, no puppet talk, just real conversations for people who think for themselves. Listen with your brain, not just your ears. Think critically, question boldly, and speak freely. This is Kranky Live, where reason rules the mic and truth always win. Come on, let's get into it. Good night, good night, good night. Let me know if you can hear me out there in YouTube land. Bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up. Let me know if you can hear me in YouTube land, people. But you know, sometimes this thing don't work like it should. Good night, we're back. Back again, talk Jamaica football. We've been out on vacation for a while, do intermittent shows here and there. But we're back to talk some football. Before I jumped into football, though, I was watching a minute ago the U.S. Track and Field Championship, the 100 meters women, 100 meters men. Old feet win again. Sha'Carri Richardson winning, 10-7s, and then Noah Lyon in 7-9. So those two are hot. And, you know, class is class, obviously. And should be interesting to see what happens as the year goes forward. People are running well in shape. Noah look really, really good, I must admit. Got out the blocks well, and he was all over. Bednarek and Baker and Coleman, all of them just wilt as he put the pressure on. Bless up, Drew Ross. How you doing? Mr. Fortis, how you doing? Bless up. Thanks for joining me. We're talking some football tonight. I have a lot to discuss. Before I jump into the football, I want to mention a couple of things. Before I jump into the football. First thing is this. I saw a friend of mine from UK sent me this. It suggested that AFTV. I mean, you know AFTV and Robbie. Robbie has Jamaica Heritage. He runs. And by the way, as you come in, people, please hit the like button. Don't be stingy. They raised £20,000 for unfortunate individuals as it relates to Hurricane Melissa, even though that took place last September. People are still suffering, especially in places like St. Elizabeth. So it's a good thing to see. We're back to regular scheduling, Julius. Well, not regular, irregular scheduling. It's a good thing to see people are still raising money. And my friend in the UK, Apollo, who has Jamaican heritage, and Tony, who has Guyanese heritage, are going to Jamaica soon, back to St. Elizabeth. Apollo was there with his wife a number of months ago. They garner and gather a lot of produce and items that they bring to Jamaica, distribute, and just giving back. Well, I shouldn't say they even giving back, because Jamaica never give anything to them. So they not really give back. They're just giving and not give back. When you give back, that means you get something out of the country. They don't get nothing. They're born in the UK, they grew up in the UK. If them give back to the homeland of their forefathers, basically. Or their foreparents, but there are a number of people in the diaspora who have been doing a great job of trying to provide resources to those who have been in an unfortunate situation as related to the hurricane. So, and by the way, people, as you come in, please don't be stingy with the like button. Please hit the like button. So that's a good thing. And bless up to Robbie and AFTV and the good work that they do. They're all over the place. They spend a lot of time in Africa and different places, mainly for content, but also they do give back. So that's a very, very good thing. Second item before I jump in the main topic. The main topic this evening is about the JFF and their cash crunch. And then, as you know, the Concacaf draw came out. We want to talk about that also. But as we go into the discussion, before I jump that, I want to mention something also I've been seeing come across the airwaves, which is Leon Bailey was the only Jamaican-born player currently playing in the EPL. Think I'm right on that. Think I'm right on that. He is at Villa, and now there's discussion about him going to Hull City, who is newly promoted to the Premier League. Now I'll say this about Bailey, because guys know I've been critical of Bailey, of his play, and sometimes of his behavior, actually. But I'll say this about Bailey. I watch him play quite a bit, and I had some excerpts that I actually recorded, but I'm not sure I did with them, of comments made by commentators in England about Bailey. I remember Agbagnafur, Gabby Agbagnafur, who played for Villa, was a forward for Villa, a good player, saying every time you see Bailey playing, as you get the ball, him fall down. That was a powerful view. And you understand why Villa may want to move him on. And Bailey was excellent 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And there were talks about him going to bigger clubs and higher clubs. And now he's gone in the opposite direction. But I'll say this. I think for Bailey, I think he needs to... his biggest deficit I see in football is his decision making. He's good left foot, right foot. He has good speed. He has good skills. But to me, his decision making is atrocious. And until he fixes that, he will continue to go in the direction he's going in. All right? He will not go in the direction he should be going, given his I wouldn't call it God-given ability, because sometimes we develop ourselves and we put in the hard work and we put in the sweat to get where we are. But I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he realized that, when you go up the ladder quite a bit, it can be challenging to maintain that status. That whatever he was doing to get where he was, he now revisit it. But I think his decision-making needs to improve. I watch him play for Jamaica. I watch him play for Villa of late. Villa's been trying to get rid of him for a while. He makes a lot of money. They sent him to Italy to go play for Roma. He was always injured. They sent him back. And here's the damning thing about the Villa situation. Villa is dying for wingers. Dying for wingers. They had Britton Rashford in at one point. They didn't bring, what's his name? That was at Dortmund from Man U. Sancho in. They were playing McGinn and Rogers out wide because they didn't have wingers to play out right. Now they're bringing in Garnacho, who is a very divisive figure. And Chelsea's happy Garnacho's leaving, and Villa fans are not happy he's coming in, but everything he can work miracles. So they need wingers, and yet they believe they have to get rid of him, which is not a good thing. That means you're so bad, you're so dispensable. It's not about attitude, as far as I know. It's just about how he's playing or not playing. So my hope, if he goes to Hull, and there's all up north, that he revisit what got him to where he is, but he also learned to think football and not just play football. Because his biggest deficit right now is the decision making. Until he fixes, and his injury record, until he fixes that, he's going to be challenged. Let me take some comments, and then I'm going to jump into tonight's topic. Gravity's pulling him down. Stop not pulling down. Ted Dexter, how you doing? Ted Dexter, Ricardo, bless up Ricardo. Santana said, JFF is probably too broke to hire a good European or something like coach. So he's not going to work for me. Campbell says, in all honesty, I think we fans are putting our players too high expectation-wise and talent. Well, he has talent, right? I mean, we see him play in Germany. We see him play in Belgium. We see him play in the Premier League when his first year at Villa. He was ascending in one direction, which is up. And all of a sudden, people say, well, you get big money contract and you go in the opposite direction, you get big-headed. I think there's a lot of factors that contribute to his situation. One is injuries, but the other one is his game is going south. And we see that with some footballers, right? We see that people like Dele Alli and some of those footballers who are on the top of the mountain and all of a sudden they just fall off a cliff. So anyway, so that is for Bailey. Now let's jump into the JFF. Coming to talk about that. So I saw, somebody sent me an article, actually. That's why we're talking about this today. And the article talked about the JFF financial situation. And reports have emerged that the JFF has experienced a cash squeeze. And whenever you hear terms like cash squeeze, cash flow, crisis, emotions take over because everybody will point to the World Cup and we don't make it that much. 12.5 million payout and playing money 1.5 million. Enough money give out. And FIFA made about 14 billion. It's projected instead of the 10. So even more money paying out. And the JFF with their management or mismanagement, Best Up DC, have resulted in them being in a financial squeeze. There was an article in The Observer, which I'll pull up if I can find it, and talk to it, which talked about the JFF financial situation. And it's The Observer article. I'm going to read it first and then we can talk about it. Let me know if you guys can see this article, if it's clear as they are clear as mud. So here's the article. I'll try to bring it up more. And I'll read it. It says, Jamaica Football Federation President Michael Ricketts has outlined what he considers a harsh financial reality facing the body, which is managing a tight cash flow situation after putting significant resources into national team programs that ultimately missed out on major qualification payouts. Now, if you heard the JFF before, by the way, people, those of you just coming to the chat, we have about 70 of you on the chat. We have 33 likes. Please change those numbers and push the likes up. I would appreciate it. It says international football is a high-stakes business. And Ricketts says the JFF is counting the cost of an aggressive push for global recognition that fell short on the pitch. Now, I'm not sure what they have done different from what they did in the past. It's a little bit confusing to me. You're pushing for global recognition. What have you done different from what you've done in the past? That you can say was a differentiating factor that resulted in more money going out than previously. Obviously, the campaign was a little bit long, so it took resources, and you fly a private plane, if those if I fly a private plane, enough money. It goes on to say, failing to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup cost the JFF a guaranteed minimum payout of $10.5 million to $12.5 million US dollars, which in Jamaican money is just under $2 billion. A windfall tied to FIFA participation and preparation fees. For a federation historically hampered by tight budgets, a capital injection of that size could have cleared existing debt, reduced reliance on government subventions, and fully funded grassroots facilities, coaching development, and youth travel across all age groups. Right now, it's challenging, Ricketts told The Observer. We would have invested heavily in so many of the World Cup qualifiers. U20s leave today to participate in the last round. The ladies will play their last game against Costa Rica in November. And of course, the senior men's team didn't do as well as we'd have thought. Hence, we did not get the returns based on the investment. The immediate strain comes as national squads continue to compete. While the senior men missed their target, the Federation must still fund ongoing campaigns, including the departure of the national under-20 team and the senior women's team's crucial November fixture. Should the Reggae Girlz win the Concacaf Women's Championship game against Costa Rica, they not only qualify for the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028, but also for the 2027 Women's World Cup in Brazil. At the latter, they would receive a financial payout for competing in the group stage at the very minimum. FIFA has, however, not yet shared an exact breakdown of monetary prizes for this tournament. Ricketts defended the heavy spending as a necessary cost of doing business in modern football, where federations must spend aggressively across all age groups just to remain competitive on the world stage. There are so many teams vying for global recognition that it costs us a lot of money, Ricketts said. So we're struggling right now financially simply because we would have invested heavily in these programs and the senior men's team didn't qualify. The article goes on to say, despite the short-term financial challenge, Ricketts says staying visible on the global stage remains the JFF's best foot forward. Mentioning long-term commercial goals, such as JFF's interest in hosting the 2031 FIFA Women's World Cup, Ricky says the high cost of international football is a necessary investment in the country's social and technical future. He believes the star power of players like Khadija Bunny Shaw, and Jody Brown demonstrates the return on investment that numbers alone cannot capture. This is to ensure that we impact the lives of every Jamaican, Ricky said. Everybody wants to be like Bunny Shaw. Everybody wants to be like Jody Brown. Everybody wants to be like a Jamaican player. So we are hopeful, we're optimistic that this will, from a commercial standpoint, from a technical standpoint, from a social standpoint, certainly help our country. And that's the article. That's the article. So I'll say a couple of things on that. A lot of things on that, actually. The first thing is about the reported cash crisis. So I have some numbers here. When Dennis Strong was the GenSec for the JFF, and Dennis came in to rectify the financial situation, provide more corporate governance, have more accountability, etc., etc. The JFF had paid down its debt and was in the black, or in the red. They had about, I think when he left, they had what, 57 million surplus? And 2 years before him left, they had a 64 and 56 million of surplus. Now, one could say, well, Kranky, we got to back up a little bit, my youth. Because he may have had a surplus because the team was doing better in a number of instances. That's true. But I can tell you that in terms of the financial prudence and financial management and treating the money like your money, which is what Dennis did, and knowing him as an accountant by trade, as a steward who is very focused on ensuring responsibility, accountability, appropriate governance, that he would have restricted how the money is being spent and make sure things were accountable. I remember having a discussion with him once about when we brought McLaren requested Ravel to come for a game that was played in St. Louis. Probably cost about 10G, like a Middle East I come from, probably maybe more. And then give Ravel 1 minute. And Ravel was a last minute call up. And Dennis was very upset because he said, we don't have money like that for just spend. Right? And they had some resources then. We can't spend money like that. He was not happy. Right? So if that's the case, I am not sure that level of accountability and financial responsibility and fiscal know-how is inherent in the JFF. And by the way, if most of you have just read recently, the JFF, what I'm going to call operations manager, pretty new, has resigned. Haven't gotten any explanation why he resigned. Him left, him done, gone. So Dennis Strong came and left after 2-3 years. This person who came in, who supposedly was providing some financial support to aspects of the program, come and leave. Why is it the people who seem to have some ability and responsibility and accountability are the ones who are always departing? Maybe the organization is toxic. If you think about, yes, the president is right. It does take money to run what they call MAs, right? Football programs, FAs. It takes money. It's not cheap, especially when you're dealing with professionals, especially in a men's senior team. But 90% of the funds are generated from the men's senior team. And if that's the case, you have to think about, how do I get the men's senior team to maximize its potential and generate the revenues that's needed? Your revenues come from different sources, right? We've talked about these sources ad nauseum. You get sponsorship, and they have Adidas, and they have told us that's the best contract they've ever had, and probably the best contract in Jamaica's history when it comes to sport with Adidas. We have no idea how much money that is. None. Everything is supposed to be quiet. We know they get money from gate receipts, but I don't think the football is supported as well as it should be in Jamaica, except for maybe the last game that they played against Curacao. It's not like when Messi come Jamaica, everybody go support the Cavaliers, get the benefit. This time it's the JFF, they don't get the benefit apart from 1 or 2 games. Especially the women's game, that's even worse. Because as I said, 90% of the revenues come from the men's national team. They get some support from FIFA. We're not sure what those numbers are, but it may not be enough to be sustainable for the team. They get money from the government, I think every quarter or something like that, but it's not a material amount of money. So they have different avenues where money comes in, but a lot of money is spent on, if you're not making the money of a junior team, under 17, under 20. They're supposed to be individuals who are matriculate your senior team to help them generate the cash or the money that you need. So you don't really make a lot of money. You don't make any money from those. And for the women's team, but you make money from the World Cup, but you also is not material in terms of the revenues generated from women's games. Maybe more will come from the next World Cup and going forward because the women's game is getting better and the resources are being invested more and they're generating more revenues. But most of it come from the men. And we have all talked about the debacle that we all underwent as it relates to World Cup qualification and lack thereof. So we've talked about how the Federation earns its money. And it spends a lot of this money on, obviously, its operations, including the parishes and the headquarters. And part of the concern I have there is how that money gets allocated to all those institutions, those areas, and who's guarding that money. Because when Dennis leaves, things change, you know. Dennis had the autonomy, Dennis had the authority, and Dennis had the substance to not be pressured in how money is distributed. I'm not sure that resides anymore. And as Dennis told you, when he got there, people come to work at 11, 12 o'clock. Things was all over the place. And he changed behavior, but I'm sure it gone back to where it was. I'm sure it goes back to, because you know when things happen, if your parents not home, the kids them run wild. So life work. So in essence, a lot of money is probably spent, or maybe most of it spent in terms of travel and resources for the national team. And if that's the case, if you're saying your national team is an imperative and your national team is what is required to do well, for you to do well, because think about it last time around. National team field Nations League, field Gold Cup, it's a Nations League, field Gold Cup because they were in the Gold Cup, field Gold Cup, knockout first round, minimum $500,000 that gone. Most time them go into semi-final and sometime quarter-final and once in a while final. So you make no money from probably cost you money in the Gold Cup versus making money. And then the World Cup qualification, we expect Jamaica to qualify because FIFA and Concacaf, everybody make it easy for Jamaica, they don't qualify, so they lose a lot of money. And I keep telling people who continue to blame players and blame this and blame that, look at the people running the organization. They're the problem. And that problem manifests itself now in terms of them saying we have cash crunch. No, I'll say this. The JFF has had cash crunch for years. I was doing some research on JFF today. And I saw some article from the Gleaner, 2007, 2010, 2000 this, with even Burrell. Burrell lend them money. You know, Burrell get money for lend. Yeah, Captain I am, yeah, buddy for lend. But anyway, we won't go there. Burrell lend them money. Them not have money. The thing with Schaefer and all that. JFF has always had financial problems. Even of late, in the last 4 years after COVID, they had problems. And they work themselves out of it. That's why Hagram is a big miss. Because them think is Jamaica the third in the Nations League. And to Copa, they can make some money. They're not making any money. Well, they're making money, but they're not making enough money. And what I've always said is this. The JFF lack the vision and the strategy, which means they lack the people needed in the seats to move the organization forward. And now we hear they want to go more local. Like it's like you compound your problems, right? So you blame coaches and players because most of the players come from diaspora, and you blame coaches because you hire coaches from overseas when you fail. And you haven't looked around that all your leadership, your board, your president, your technical director are all local. You have looked in the mirror and realize that your problem is internal, your problem is not external. Because the players don't recruit themselves and the coaches don't hire themselves. So it's you. But because you lack the necessary competence to understand how things work, you end up where you are. So now you're struggling financially, which is not surprising. And I hear nothing about you doing, no initiative that you're undertaking to generate resources. I'm gonna give you an example, people. I participated in a raffle. I think I won a tablet, in a raffle that they have in the US. It's a big raffle. They have it annually. Where the biggest prize was 30,000 US, I think. Then they had prize of 3,000 US. Then they have other merchandise and give out. And they have consolation prize. I think I won a consolation prize. I haven't seen the tablet yet, but I'm sending a tablet. And I'm sure if they give out 30,000, if they give a prize money in total about 50,000, I'm sure they probably make 10 times that number. It's a non-for-profit organization. And the money will go back to the schools in Jamaica that they disseminate the money and distribute the money. But it's one way of considering how you generate resources. Does the JFF think about outside the box to generate resources if the traditional means of generating funds is not sufficient? Or they just go with the status quo and complain? Because they sure as hell don't do a good job of recruiting. And it goes back to the fact, which is it's about the players, the players, the players. Keep saying this. It's about the players. I've been saying the JFF have been broke for a while. I was told they were broke for a long time ago. Well, I was told they were broke. I was told that the failure to progress in the Gold Cup is going to be a financial challenge. And when I work out all the situation, I said to people, them JFF broke, and I hear people say me this and me bad mind and me this and me that. I said that's something. I get said a call, said a name. But it's not hard to figure out. If you know how much a private jet costs, or a private plane costs, if you know how much hotel costs and all those things cost, and who's paying for these things, and you figure out that you have some estimate in your mind of what the revenue generation is, then you can figure out exactly where things land. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. So the JFF has major financial problems. And that problem gets worse when you got to think about this. They're not 17 at the World Cup. They're not money from non-sensitive, you know. They're not 20 are playing now in Concacaf in the final round trying to get to World Cup. Good luck to both teams. The Nations League is starting in September, and we're going to spend some time talking about the Nations League, given that the zones have been provided. A, B, and C zone, Jamaica in A, tough zone. So they'll have to pay for all these activities. Where the revenues are come from? They might get some Adidas money. They may get some government money. They may get some FIFA money. But is that going to be enough? Because they're not going to get a lot of gate receipts. Because people not got a game after what happened with World Cup qualifiers. And kind of Jamaica a bandwagon on this. I don't know if that's going to work. That's challenging. That's difficult. I have no idea how that will work. So it's interesting where we are as a country and where the JFF is. The complaint, the concern, the consternation about lack of resources. What does that mean going forward for some of the teams? Is that you can't pay for them? Are you going to undertake more debt? You got to pay higher interest rate on the debt? How is that going to work? And who's managing the finances? And while we have the people who are deemed to be almost good at what they do are the ones resigning, and the people who now do nothing. Why is always that case? The people who are assets are the ones who leave, and the liabilities stay. How does that work? That's illogical, no? Let me take some comments, and I will keep going. Take some comments. Gunnar says, "Now I'm gonna lie. Is NG a longer lie? I assume that's what it is. It's difficult. Like of us can make it annoying for any coach having to think about not selecting a player because he's not guaranteed to play. If he wants to see how the player does, yeah, there's much more to that than Gunnar. Much more than that. I think about you want to bring certain players because you can't afford to play in fear. If you're not bring people from England and they want to fly business class and I might go to we have $5,000, you bring 20 people, it's $100K right there. Unless you have some arrangement with the airlines. I'm sure they probably don't have those arrangements, actually. Because I don't think them thinking that way. Um, yeah. That was Chung. First responder said, Kranky, I'm not sorry for them. Let's see why they really stay there. I'm not getting drawn the sympathy for them because of the players again. Yeah. Where's the marketing team? I don't know. But well, your market, you're not known for market. Your market that team will go World Cup. Make it hard for the market, I know. If Jamaica go World Cup, and I think the 12 million that they're making now, that's just part of the money. Probably make double that. He said the Kranky JFF don't want to make any money. The youth teams need sponsors. They all sit on their butts and not help the team. Yeah. Let them only pick local bosses since them broke. I don't know. I would think if you're JFF and you saw the example in the last World Cup where there were so many, I forgot what the number was, but so many players who were not born in a given country who played in the World Cup. 90 something from France, 60 something from Netherlands, about 40 something from England. There was a big numbers of players who were born, who played for countries other than where they were born. And countries like Morocco, DR Congo, a lot of those countries, Cape Verde, had more than half their squads who were not born in those countries. Forget about Curacao, where only one player born in Curacao. Right? And that realizing the benefits those countries derive from the diaspora and how you can leverage that to help you in the right way, in more visionary, strategic, long-term way of trying to do that versus a more reactive way, a more tailored way, a more tactical. Because all we do is everything we do is tactical. That is strategic. Bless up, Van. Breaking the gem in the gun fund, nobody's surprised. These folks well, I mean, if you don't have money, you have to figure out where to get the money now. And JFF need to figure that out. Whether it's the marketing people or the president, whoever it is. Because they don't want the diaspora to get involved. They set up the program whereby only local people can get involved. So I'd be curious to see how they go about trying to change the situation. Can't just sit and cry. You have to be proactive. Right? And be proactive. Yeah, look, not qualifying the World Cup was really, really bad. But the people who orchestrate the non-qualification will tell you that you're bad mind and you're horrible and you're toxic when you talk the truth. They don't like to be criticized. And they don't look that when they do well, they get praise. But because they've been doing so badly, they can't get no praise because you can't praise people who are feel. That don't make no sense. And it's not because you want to criticize, because we would love to come here and extol the virtues, and the benefits and the positives for the JFF and the organization. We'd love to do that. But the more we observe them, the more we watch, the more we look, the more we assess, the more disappointing it becomes. Now you may have been able to understand why Rudolph Speed is the coach. Because even though the JFF made the decision to go local across the board, whether it's Rudolph Austin or Downsville or Rudolph Speed, part of that decision may have been financial more than we know. Now, I'm sure Rudolph not working for free, but he's not going to work for no $500,000 a year. Or something close to that Hagrimson and McLaren were getting. I hear a lot of people say they want Rudolph to feel. I don't want Rudolph to feel. Okay, if Rudolph feel, that means the Jamaica football is not doing well. I'm not into that. I'm into, as I mentioned this the last time I do a program, as I told somebody who was a little bit older than me, who is not supportive of Rudolph Speed succeed. I said to him, you don't have enough time on earth for Rudolph Speed to feel it now. You don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. And I say, why we have 50 years left on the earth for you to ask Rudolph if you feel. You want to enjoy your little life you have left? See, if you want Jamaica succeed, young people like gunners, in the early 20s, where you can't have 40, 50 years left. You may have 10 if you're lucky. So you don't want a man succeed. Then, and he probably feel for 4 years. Can probably be the coach for the next 4 years. We don't want Rudolph succeed. Want him win. And my hope is that, which I know he does, because Rudolph is very ambitious. You'll be shocked how much Rudolph is going to recruit, if he can, to get players in this team. Because Rudolph want to win. And the local players, so let me say this, none of the local players are just not good enough. They're not playing at the right level. They're not at the right level for Jamaica to succeed in football. They're just not. And we need to recruit better. And as somebody told me today, we need to recruit younger. Let me take some more comments and then I'll keep going. Jefferson Kranky, the man, them don't care what people don't. They'll tell they don't need to learn from anyone because Jamaicans are naturally great or some other nonsense. I don't think we're naturally great. I think, like everybody else, look, Jamaicans have done well in the world. And for a country of 3 or 6 million, it's a very prominent country. But we are subject to failure. We all can learn from each other. And we all can evolve as people. So we can't just be arrogant and say we're great. And the football has not been great, to be honest. Manch Pool says, what's an interesting name? Good evening, Kranky. I hope these people see that the overseas players are needed. I don't have much local players in my squad now. I pick a preliminary squad for the Concacaf. I may talk about it tonight. I have no local players. I have no local players in my squad, but it's not my team. There are not a lot of local players out picking a team. Locally born players. Just not. Given the available players we have. You gotta remember, with a mad rush in terms of the playoffs and also the Unity Cup in bringing in new players, we brought in a number of players and few of them stick, and Rudolph's MC about 5. So between the nations, between the playoffs and that, it's probably about 6, 7, but we'll touch upon them. Not all of them, touch upon a few of them. Jero said, these people saw the coach fail to leave group stage at the Gold Cup, something that has not happened in almost 2 decades, and decided to keep him and still do. Yeah, I mean, as you know, a number of us were proposing that the coach be replaced. As I've always said, I thought we'd make the World Cup despite the coach, not because of the coach. But some of the recruits I expected to come in, like the Cameron Archer and Max Aarons and all them, never come in. Don't know what happened, but I'm sure they'll probably come sooner versus later after the fact, which is kind of sad. First one said, only a new JFF can get sponsorship now. Jamaica is changing. Eyes opening up. No new sponsorship with these dinosaurs there. Yeah, it makes it difficult, right? You don't want to give your money to people you don't have confidence in. That's a problem. DC, how are you doing, DC? DC said, most fans only know the president of their federation, so they know who needs to get fired if the team fails. If it makes it about themselves, not the players, so fans know every board member's name. Yeah. Well, they're not firing themselves, that's for sure. There's a frank way to support you. We're not in the blind support. Well, we want the best for the team, Just respond. We want the best for the team. One said they're way out of the mess is that they need to recruit better players to win these tournaments. So Vaughn, you are really hitting on the nail. Bless up, Wayne Thompson. How you doing? You're really hitting on the nail as what needs to be done, Vaughn, because I think people realize, just think about any sports team. See LeBron James going to Philadelphia now, okay, win championship. It's about the players, but how do I get the players? Because the international football team is not about the coach, except if you're like England with Tuchel, who just succumb to the pressure and collapse. The coach can lose the games, but how much the coach can win the games in international football. Because in international football, you don't have enough time to impart what you want to really change players' behavior, how they play XYZ. Unless you're Spain, where it's a system. And you know what, I digress when I comment on the Spain system. People don't remember, someone who has been with me for a while now, when I wasn't even at my own channel, and I couldn't find the tape. I said, I want to find the play, But me and Rudolph Speed had a big battle about Spain. Don't forget, people, when me and him argue about Spain, it got to be about 2-3 years ago. And him push pop him, so Spain win and Spain this and Spain that. And I said to myself, say, me not understand enough, star. Me confused. Because Spain is not just about the senior men's team. Spain is about the football ecosystem and what it produces. Ballon d'Or winner for men, Ballon d'Or 3 times for women, under Olympics, under this, under that, Women's World Cup. I mean, I talk about the recent Men's World Cup, as the basis, because they win in 2010, win after that, but then win the Euro. Right? I was saying to him that you need to get somebody from Spain. I don't want a Spanish coach. We need a Spaniard from Spain who's part of that ecosystem, and more than one of them to come to Jamaica, build a relationship with them, if you can't afford them, and let them teach us how to build a system of play. So even when players go play for the other team and come back, they're part of that system. It's an ecosystem. It allows you to play within that system. Some people call it tiki-taka football. What do you want to call it? Possession football. We had a big argument about that, And he was on one side and me on the other side. Me confused. And I know that I'm probably a novice when it comes to football, because these people are experts, they're coaches, they have run team. But I think if you follow the sport long enough and you have some level of intellect and you really assess things deductively, then you can figure certain things out and understand certain things. And if you see a country have more coaches than anybody else in the world, more pro licensed coaches than anybody else, those coaches are dominating and coach influence and determine how you play football. Because I've said this, I can't rate no coach who come from Jamaica, I can't rate any Jamaican coach. You know why? I've said this numerous times. If you can't produce good midfielders, I can't rate you. If you can't produce good midfielders, I can't rate you. Because that's where most of the intellect in football reside on the football field, in the middle of the park. So if you can't produce midfielders, I can't rate you as a coach. I don't care what you want to win, and you want to win at Jamaica. Okay, now we're outside Jamaica. Because we're not outside Jamaica if you're a Jamaican local coach. You can't produce midfielders. Also in a bun, I can't rate you. You can talk all your accolades all you want to talk. You look on Spain, they produce midfielders like it's an assembly line. And in the World Cup, they don't even have no centre forward people. They win World Cup without centre forward. Them play pressing, them respond offense and press upon defense and turn you fool. Even France with them great team get turned fool. Because Spain will stop pressure when they get the ball. And when Spain have the ball, them can't get the ball off them. So until we learn how to coach and coach the right way and teach a system of play, we'll struggle. You look at man in my Jamaica talk, the toxic boss and all them, but we athletic and we fast and we this and that, we are deer. We don't have brain. You have to teach people how to play the game. At some point, you have to teach them how to play the game. And they think the game. And speed of thought and quality of thought are imperative to be a good footballer, especially in the middle of the park. Because there's so much traffic, you have to figure it all out. And JFF now have Andrew Peart as the technical director. I don't know Andrew. He seems like an intelligent guy. But what's Andrew's experience out there to be the technical director to oversee the development of football in Jamaica holistically? What is Andrew doing? Is he leveraging other parties to help him? I'm going to do it because them go couple class and take such a session and say them good at what them do. Because them go school now. Them start go school. Then they go school. If you didn't go school, you must be done. So now you go school, you think, yeah, I learn stuff. But who are you learning from? What are you learning? What methods are you learning? The curriculum may be very similar, but I've always said this. If you go Immaculate, and you go Campion, and you go Denanton High School or Charlie Smith, probably the same curriculum, not the same outcome. My hope is that, me stop hope. I don't hope for Jamaica football, my people. Me try to enjoy the football, me cover the football, but I don't hope. Because the same people who say they are patriots are not true patriots. Patriots sacrifice on behalf of his country. Me keep saying that. If you not sacrifice yourself, they ain't a patriot. People want a position, they like the limelight, they like the notoriety, they like the accolades that come with the role, them hate the pressure, and them not have the capability sometimes to do things the right way, and they don't want to relinquish their position. So people who go in the organization and leave can get frustrated. Anyway, Original Youth says, until we get rid of corruption on society, the football will continue to be a reflection of society. Yeah, I'm not going to call anyone corrupt. I don't like doing that. Original Youth. I stay from those labels. I more use the word competent versus corruption. Because unless I have evidence, I can't say you're corrupt, but I can say you're incompetent based on what I've seen, because I don't know what the money in Jamaica. Corruption now really ties to money. In the corruption is just more than money. Corruption go to money and say people are defalcate funds, they might take funds. That's what people think about corruption. I view things a little bit differently. I believe a lack of competence, which is how you do things and don't do it well, resulting where we are. It's not forgivable hiring McLaren. It's just not forgivable. It's not forgivable not making the World Cup. It's not forgivable making bad decision, and compound the bad decision with more bad decision. It's not forgivable. Given the benefits to be derived from what we could have achieved, it's not forgivable. That's why if you never get, that's why if you leave, and them not leave. I hear you. Yeah, I mean, so look, the fact that JFF have no money is just sad, people. It's just sad. Because as I said before, I used to have a conversation with Dennis, when he was there in terms of interviewing Dennis and talking to Dennis. They were in positive. I have a long conversation with Dennis. Remember I drive from Georgia one time and on the phone with Dennis for a while. I think there was on a channel actually talking about the finances and the football. And they had made good progress. Dennis wanted to pay on the debt. Because, pay on your debt, you have to pay interest on the debt. And then play down the debtors and then ensure that in control the cash. So people want cash, have to justify when they get the cash. Who is the guardian of the cash now? Because it's not corruption, you can pay out cash legally, But do you have to pay it out? Doesn't mean it's corruption, or somebody do something illegal, You could be doing it legally, but is it prudent? Is it wise? Is it the thing to do? Yeah, and I know that the JFF don't like when we talk about some of these things, because they think we are negative and we're toxic. Some people used to link me, say me toxic. That tell me say me toxic. But I can't be a hypocrite and come here and see how great the JFF is when they've been so poor what they do. And when the JFF know, I don't know if the JFF looking for sympathy going out to the world and telling them they don't have no money. They go to observers and they don't have no money. There got to be a rationale for that decision. Right? If you go and say you don't have no money to the general public, after a World Cup campaign, you never qualify, when you own not qualifying, I wonder what the rationale is. Is it to get empathy? Is it to get sympathy? Is it to influence the government? What's the rationale? Talking about it not going to change nothing. Or you want sympathy from the players, them, so they must fly economy versus trying to fly business class. What is it you're trying to achieve? Now, the Nations League are right around the corner. September, it's a month and something away, 2 months away. And we have the coach in play in Rudolph Speed. So will Rudolph Speed be able to get the players that he wants to come into the team? Or does he have to use local players? No, I would agree, DC. It's hard to give compliments to failure. And you should not. It's very difficult. People hit the like button, huh? Try to get over 100 likes to hit the like button. But this whole thing about the JFF cash crisis, cash crunch, they own that. JFF should be bathing in cash. Here's another thing to people. When you're running an organization and you're making decisions, you have to think about the benefits of the decision and the detriments of the decision. How great can it be and how bad can it be? Because you have to take a risk. If you're risk averse, you'll be conservative. You're not going to make no decision which is too bold. And if you're a risk taker, you may do that. Okay, you can live with, but you can live with the consequences. Did the JFF think about who them hire for coach a team, what players they bring in, and the implications of that? Have they ever thought about that? Me confused, Have they thought about, you know what? We hire McLaren. If we feel what that means, does McLaren have the requisite skill set, recency knowledge? We call it recency knowledge. Because you may have football knowledge, but it's dated. And then when you see McLaren and how he's managing the team and you still keep him on, and then you believe he should still be remaining in the JFF, I still can't understand. Now, if we look prospectively, because we can't keep going back all the time. If we look prospectively where we're going, we still are struggling because we're trying to look prospectively and we don't have no money. So what does that mean for the team? What does it mean for the Nations League? What does it mean for the under 20? What does it mean for the under 17? What does it mean for the women's team to say no money? Do you have to forego certain competition? Because the president wasn't totally forthright about the implications of not having money now. Him just said we have to do these things, and that's where the money will come from. Now I'm sure FIFA gonna get them. FIFA have more money to get. First of all, I would think each MA across the entire globe would get at least $1 million from FIFA, minimum $1 million, just to be in a federation. Because they made 14 billion, and 10 was their projection. They have 4 billion extra money. They have to give out. Because they're not for profit enough, so they have to give the money out. Or spend it on something. So I would assume that they'll have some money to give out. So JFF go to FIFA with your hat in your hand and tell them you need some money. They have money they can give you. Right? Go to FIFA, JFF. Please go to FIFA and put your hat back out. You don't have no money. Because FIFA have money. FIFA have enough money. Enough money. Much more than they know what to do with it. Be proactive. Don't be shy. Be proactive. Go request FIFA to give you some funding. Because you're in this dire need. Show them your finances. That you don't know if you manage your finances. Because you know you had a financial restriction at one point. Because you never know if you manage your finances. You know the same people keep doing the same thing and expect different outcome. Make no sense to me. Now here's a question for the JFF. Given your financial challenges, you haven't told anyone what you're doing in terms of changing behavior to help you navigate this situation. I haven't heard anything to say, you know what? We're tying our belt. Our belly just big CMV and we just eat and fill up our belly. How would that work? Spend what we have. Bless up all knowing. Yeah, I mean, the reporters just report the information. They don't have opinions. I guess in Jamaica, people don't have opinions. They report what is said. They don't have opinions. No opinions at all. I'm not going to spend much more time on this, except to say this. That I've always advocated for the JFF to go out and recruit persons to help them into what they're doing. But my suggestion is a little bit different this time around. That the people in certain roles need to leave the roles and try to have people come in to replace them, not to supplement, to replace them. Because I'm not sure they know what they're doing. I'm not sure. People don't want to get, I understand the people. It's a job. You get paid for your job. And you may not have opportunities, but find other opportunities, man. Yeah, we're going more debt, you know. If anybody gonna lend us the money. And then when you go in debt, you're hamstrung. Yeah, but that's 2031, George Smith. So the question is, when will that be? That's no time soon. Even though we hear Bobsy, so the stadium will be refurbished. So I'll wait and see how that works. Am I saying xenophobia can't pay the bill? I don't think so. The money's not in Jamaica. Money's in Jamaica, but it's not in the right hands to support the football. Oh, so check out the FIFA Forward program. Okay, I will look into that, Wayne Thompson. So Wayne, you want to elaborate, Wayne? You can call him now, Wayne. You can call him the phone line up. You can call him. I test up on the Nations League, but you can call him if you have something you want to provide. But I would expect that the many federations across the world will get more money from FIFA. FIFA have to give away the money. You can't just keep the money and can't part the money. Ever give out some of the money. And frankly, I want to say this allegedly. No one nobody sue me. Allegedly, Infantino, Afi, how would I put it? Let me be careful with my words. Have to acquire votes. Because Europe now voting in again. And then presidency not too far away. There's a FIFA election. Infantino now get Europe vote. Because Europe done with Infantino. Except maybe for Italy. And a few more countries. If you're Norway, if you're England, if you're France, after the Balogun situation, and even before that, UEFA, first of all, UEFA and FIFA in a war. So Infantino need Asia, he need Africa, he need South America, he need Concacaf, because Concacaf have enough members. You know the best time to get some money in Jamaica? And Infantino say your vote is subject to what assistance is provided to you. Very careful with your words. First responder said no sympathy for the JFF. He said, and the Gleaner reported that Babsy may have gotten ahead of herself as the host nation announcement has been delayed. Yeah, but they're gonna get it, man. They're gonna get it. Don't get it. These things are preordained, you know, DC. Just like Qatar get the World Cup, Saudi Arabia get the World Cup. And think they're preordained, man. People know they think they're a long time. Nothing is by chance. Like FIFA not done for free. Nothing is for free. Nothing is for free. But it's really interesting where we are. We expect to be here anyway. Because from your field to qualify for the second round of the Gold Cup, from your field to make the World Cup, where you get money from? And you have a lot of expenses. I have no idea. And it's very, very sad. And it's coming back again because now the football soon restart. It restart in September. It start before then because road speed. If you get them players, them identify them XYZ. But I expect us to have a better team than the one we had for the World Cup qualifiers. I wouldn't say better, a younger team for the World Cup qualifiers for the Nations League actually than we had previously. Maybe a better team too, based on some of the players that I've seen more recently. So let me transition from the JFF and M crisis to the Nations League. Now, the Nations League draw took place yesterday. You know, I'm going to drink some water to make it to 100 likes. I'm going to drink some water, people. With that 90 likes. Give me 10 more likes now, people. 10 more likes. 10 more likes. May I beg for likes then. Give me 10 more likes, people. I'm going to drink some water to give me 10 likes. I'll put myself on mute. Ten more likes, people. Don't be selfish. 10 more likes. So George Simmons is asking, where's the Jack one in Concacaf? People, we have 138 people on the channel, only 92 likes. 8 out of the 41. 46 just the like button now and get me to 100. So I don't know, you know. But I think Concacaf need to go as a body. Then the US don't really need it. And US, Canada, and Mexico don't really need anything. But then they go as a body. Forget what they want. And they've done a good job of getting positions in FIFA and or getting allocations of slots for World Cup. And by the way, the next World Cup is 64 team. Me now have no comfort that Jamaica will reach it. Unless things change. But by then, the president should leave him last term this. If we get somebody who is much more confrontational, much more overt. Because I like the president enough. But not to be the president for my football team. I like him as a person, but him not have some of the attributes we need to run the organization. Him just doesn't. He's a nice human being, you know. As I say all the time, but him can't run my program for me. First responder said we're not getting respect. I would agree with that first responder, but you know that go. I would agree with you. Now let's go to the Nations League. Because, wrong team, we put up people. Lord, I'm a squad. No, yeah, my one squad already. So this is the Nation League drawings. As you know, Nations League in this part of the world has three. Me jump ahead with me look at team I put up. I was coming up with a team today, so me talk about that later. But the Nations League has three, I'm going to call it zones. Or three groups, I should say. We don't care about Group B and Group C. That's what team are not good. We have focused on Group A and Group B under Nations League A. Now, as you can see from Nations League A, Group A, they had the drawings yesterday. This is how it ends up. These teams will play, and then I forgot to go, but the US makes the top team, the top 6 teams are not part of this whole group. The top Canada, US, Mexico, Panama, they're not part of this group actually. These are for the also runs. And by the way, Jamaica is now 7th in Concacaf. We were 6th for a long time. But then Honduras is ahead of us. So these teams going to play in each of these zones. And Jamaica has in its group Honduras, who is now ranked ahead of Jamaica, Guatemala, Suriname, Martinique, and El Salvador. The same Guatemala team are boxed up in a Gold Cup. So we don't have an easy game, Suriname team, which has been very good and keep recruiting. Martinique, who have enough diaspora players in El Salvador. There's no easy game. There's one easier. I'm sure we could have beat Nicaragua and Dominican Republic. We have struggled with Haiti, struggled with Trinidad. We don't know which Curacao team will turn up. I struggle with Costa Rica, who are regrouped and are rebranding themselves and are reconstituting their team. But it's a tough zone. Now, if you look at the Concacaf Nations League, obviously certain teams from this will progress to the Gold Cup. So if we don't do well, we're not going to get Gold Cup, So you're not going to be pushing a good football for a while. Now, we're ranked now. In the 70s, you need to improve your ranking. Mexico ranked about 10, US in the top 20. And we there all up 70-something. Nitro said Dominican Republic recruiting hard. Yeah, and they're probably recruiting from Spain too. Everybody's recruiting nowadays, people. Everybody's recruiting. Everybody's recruiting. Now we're playing Honduras. We're playing Guatemala. I think somebody saying we were not playing. I think we're playing Honduras and Guatemala at home. No, Honduras and Guatemala, I think, at home, and we're playing Honduras away. See, it says we won't play Suriname or Martinique. So you're not playing everybody in the zone, but if you win a game, we have tough games. We don't have an easy game. We don't have an easy game. We will not have an easy game. That means we have to recruit really, really well. And these games start in September. So Rudolph Speed have a chance to make him name. Rudolph said it's a possession team. You know when Rudolph become possession team, not possession team now. Which is a good thing, like team who possess the ball. Hopefully they can do something with it. So here's a question for you people. Should Jamaica continue with the same team they had before, who failed to qualify the World Cup? Or should some of the more senior players matriculate to retirement or bring in some young guns? And if that's so, where the young guns going to come from? We qualified for the under 17, the U20. We're going in the last round soon to see how we're going to end up. But we haven't qualified for the U20. And the U20 team you see, and the one them pick, I don't know. I thought they needed more help, but who knows? We'll see. Van says, everyone recruiting except Jamaica. There's ego is unbelievable. I don't think it's ego, I think it's lack of know-how. He says, are we playing also Jamaican teams? Yeah. Yeah, El Salvador, Guatemala's, Honduras of the world. Difficult games, especially away. The teams like Honduras, difficult games. But Jamaica have a couple of Honduras and Guatemala at home, so. But then Jamaica's home is not really its home now. the office that's been called a national stadium is not really Jamaica home anymore. Jamaica struggle at home. Even when Jamaica beat Trinidad 2-0, Jamaica struggle against Trinidad. And draw with Curacao, which was horrible. Yeah, it's they'll be playing Mexican place Sunday. So they decided to not spend too much time in Mexico. Is it because they have no money, or is it because that's the strategy people employ, which is either you go for 3 weeks or you just go and turn back? All depends. But the U20 failed badly the last time around, so let's hope they do better this time. They're not sent to make the World Cup, so you never know. You never know. But if you look at this and the World Cup, it would be a sin if we don't make the World Cup, you know. But as we know, it's getting harder and harder in this region. Look at the teams in Group A and Group B and the Nations League A. We're not guaranteed at this point to beat any of those teams, to be honest. We used to just struggle with Costa Rica. Think about all these teams. And Trinidad has not been great of late. We used to struggle with Costa Rica. The rest of the team that we can beat, we feel comfortable beating them. You can't say that anymore. Haiti was in the World Cup and give a good showing themselves. Curacao, the same thing. Dominican Republic struggled. We struggled them when we played them at home. We did win that game. They play a lot of possession football, and they're recruiting heavily, as been mentioned. Honduras is now ahead of us in terms of ranking in Concacaf and playing really well. Guatemala has improved and dust us out at Gold Cup. We win them in Jamaica, and we thought we were much better than them, but then we're 7 of them players. Suriname, as you know, has been playing well. They made the playoffs. That didn't work out for them. Martinique has always been decent, so is El Salvador. Now, we may not be playing Martinique and Suriname, but at the same time, all the teams nowadays, so we're talking about what, 12 teams? Plus we haven't talked about the other 4. That's 16 teams you compete with, on a regular basis who challenge you. We should be in the Panama, US, Canada, Mexico realm. No, we're not anymore. We're around those areas. We're going in one direction, and it's not forward. And we hope the great Rudolph Speed, the man with the corporate mind and coaches, and now a person going for his pro license, we'll have to rely upon him to get us to a good place. And I'm not going to advocate for his failure. That's not going to happen. I want him to succeed. Come on, enjoy my football. Vaughn said, just waiting to see the squad because they do well. Okay, so I'm going to pick a preliminary squad. Me have a preliminary squad. You know what I'm going to do? Before I put up my squad, I'm going to put up phone squad. I'm going to get time night chat. We can make some conversation first. I'm not stay long tonight, me. So if you come for an hour, I'm on for more than an hour already. I'm going to come for an hour. I do shorter programs nowadays. By the way, I have a new channel now. I just started today. As if I have no subscriber for the channel. I'm drop in the chat. I'm going to go on my channel and subscribe. This channel is what we call a reaction channel. And then I shut it down. When we have a reaction channel. I'm drop in the chat, people. And if you subscribe to the channel, build up my subscription base. Just drop in the chat. Go up on the channel and subscribe, people. Support the crank, man. I can almost an automated channel. I do a reaction video, but not sports. So go up on the channel, subscribe to it. So may have about, I started today. So I think I had about my niece and nephew subscribe. So I don't want people to subscribe. So may I look subscribers now. Go up on the channel and subscribe, people. May the numbers go up. I have about 100 subscribers for the evening out. So we have 144 people on the channel. Each of you go subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Jaws are Kranky. If we do a man-to-man comparison, our players will rank higher than our regional competitors, but our team chemistry is poor. Well, if we do a man-to-man comparison, what we do compare is we think about the levels of the players. And as you're saying, not about the team, because you may have an Honduran playing in the USL or playing MLS, and we say them better than somebody in the championship better than them. It doesn't really work out that way when they go on the field, to be honest. So that needs to change. Rudolph has to do a good job. I'm backing Rudolph to do well, actually. If he does what I expect him to do, which is recruit hard. I've gotten some intelligence saying the recruiting is spotty so far, but hopefully that change. It may get shut down, but I'm going to be reacting to a lot of different things. So it may get shut. I did some research and they say you can do reaction video, but you know YouTube's there, right? You take other people's things and then beat you up. So, but I'll be dropping a video at least every other day on that channel. It takes long though to set up reaction video now. I didn't know it take that long, people. But my view is that Rudolph has to be ruthless when it comes to the football team. Ruthless. Not in terms of how he engages, in terms of how he select individuals, or deselect individuals, or don't select individuals. He have to be ruthless. If he wants to win, and Rudolph is extremely ambitious, can keep telling him, say, I'm a nationalist, I'm a patriot. And we know him ambitious, say, I want to win. He has to be. No, it's not an Arsenal watch along. No, man. It's commentary and politics and different things. I may have 3 channels now, and none of them to make one, but still we have them. Because I bifurcate. I do no more sports pan balance view. Okay, you know I was doing sports. I was doing most of these videos on 2 channels. I'm bifurcating these channels, and I'm only doing certain things on certain channels. In fact, I have 4 channels in total, but that's another story for another day. I've cut myself thin because I'm kind of busy still. I was too busy the last 3 weeks to do much. Well, first responder, we can't. If we love the football and first responder, we don't have a choice, you know. I am backing Speed for a number of reasons. You know, so I'm Speed in the war most time, right? But for a number of reasons. One is I love the football and the country more than fighting with Speed. That I want. 2 is I can't change the situation with Speed. Even at the role, I'm at the coach. And if he not succeed, then me not gonna feel good with football. And me want selfish, you know. Me supporting Speed that selfish, you know. He must say I'm a patriot. I say me selfish. Me want to win. Me love the football. Me love the football team. I want the football team to do well. So me don't have no time for Speed, anti-Speed, this and no, sir. Me criticize him when he deserve criticism. But me want him win. If he win and get the job, and him keep on winning, me not have no problem with it. Should he get the job? Me say my position is clear. You can't reward failure. At the same time, he have the job. So he won't get the job for a year now, you know. And if they don't have no money, he won't have the job. All the people apply now work for free. And if they have no money, how are they going to pay? So Speed gonna be the coach. Speed gonna be the coach for the next 3 years. Probably until the next World Cup, unless him fail miserably. Them can't say them have 40-something candidates, all them want, them want to interview them. We not listen to them nonsense there. No, we're doing the Arsenal thing on this channel, Nitro. We're doing the Arsenal thing on this channel. So it's only sports on this channel. So I'm going to do some transfer daily stuff too. No, some transfer stuff. I'm not going to call it daily. I try to figure out my schedule because, boy, I tell them, busy bad man outside of YouTube. And still, I try to do the YouTube thing. And you're not going to do it the right way. If you try to multitask too much, because sometimes I get frustrated because I think I have breadth in terms of stuff I want to do. And I can't do all of them. I'm getting frustrated, so. But I want to do all of them. So we'll see how that works out. Vaughn said, one of the things that I noticed with all these World Cup squad, they were data-driven. Don't think Speed will be able to recruit that level of players. No, actually, Speed believe in the data now. The reason why Speed picked his team that went to the knockout was based on data. Probably too much reliance on data, to be honest. Because certain players him pick, won't pick, and certain players him leave out, won't leave out. But at the same time, he was trying to use more contemporary means of identifying players and assessing players and using that to make informed decision about who should be in his squad, which is the right way to go, because nobody does this without data. Nothing. Nobody do anything without data. By the way, if you're a programmer and a coder, I suggest you get a new profession. Just saying, I'm digressing a little bit. If you code and you program, get a new job. Go find something else to do with your life. Because you're going to be replaced by AI soon, if not already. First man said, no, we have to stand against police. I'm only looking over the fence. No, man, me gone over the fence long time. Me not peep. Me want Speed succeed. Me want Speed succeed. Me want Busby succeed. Me want all them succeed. Because it's about the football. It's not about the coach. You know, me and Busby get along, so I'm not going to say nothing about Busby, but me and Speed don't really get along, but it is what it is. But more on the football to succeed, and therefore, if the coaches don't succeed, the football not going to succeed. Are you able to track players in global leagues? Their data is. Yeah, there are tools out there to do that. You have to pay for some of them, though. You know, people talk about White Scout. Yeah, there are tools and programs out there that can provide the data to track players. Like you see, FIFA just moved forward $1 million or something move for from where he was in Russia to another league. Yeah, you can track people. Nowadays, yeah. Hey, jam up. A liar tell, replace them. It's replacing them. It ain't help nothing. Replace them. Yeah, the ones they're going to be people who provide an oversight role and monitoring role, but eventually it's going to replace them. Trust me. AI is in its infancy, people. Even though you hear say the rogueness of Claude the other day, but no, it's in its infancy. It's very basic. Even though it has a lot of capabilities, it's very basic. It's only going to get better. Right, but they have other sources, Nitro. Not just SofaScore. They have other sources. Other scouting mechanism. And it's only getting better too. Sometimes certain leagues are not. The major leagues are always there, Nitro, but there are other leagues which are being incorporated every single day. If you look at JPL, for example, you can get some JPL data in it, but not certain data you like to get. Like you get for the various top 10, top 20 league. But if we think about Nations League, so I've picked a preliminary squad, people. Let me see, I've done 9:30, 9:80 now. Well, no, AI is not in its infancy. They just not made it. No, it's in its infancy. Trust me, it's in its infancy. It's in its infancy. I understand about generative AI, but it's in its infancy. If you use AI like I do, and certain mistakes that AI made, I'm gonna give you an example. I was using AI today because I was doing a program, and you know what AI did? Come here, I digress a little bit. I was doing an assessment of a program, and I asked AI to capture certain information for me. I'm gonna say, AI, you know, so you're wrong. How come you have this person? It's not this person. And AI say, oh, I just took two people who I know and suppose it was the other two people and put them in. Say, but AI, you can't do that. Can I use your information and my program? You embarrass me. And AI always tell us, I'm sorry, because I didn't program the AI a certain way, you know. That's in its infancy to me, which is AI, even though it's making a lot of progress and rapid progress. By the way, AI probably learned a million times faster than human beings. So when we say it's in its infancy, you know, a year from now, it could be very advanced just because of how quickly. It depends on how quickly you train the AI, the modules that you have, how quickly you train them to do certain things. That's all it is. And the training will happen quicker and quicker and quicker. And it's becoming very dangerous. So we may not be here to enjoy it. And by the way, people, in life, everything in life have an opposite end to it. So if AI provides all its benefits, it will provide all the detriments that come with it. All the good things we all get and all the bad things we experience. Trust me. It's not all good. Oh, and say it's been rolled out in phases. Okay. Well, I mean, they have to test things first, don't it? Which we were trying to do the other day with Claude in supposedly controlled environment, which was not very controlled. Sir, you are using what GA, meaning what is accessible to the public. Keep up. Why, yeah, people come here channel and does disrespect, you know. All right, oh, you know, and the expert. Why, I tell you. Like I know alone doing no research. Like I know I learn about anything there. Why, I tell you. I have to laugh. All right. It says so. Oh, no, good night. Wait, hold up. One second, let me get you. I think you're disconnected. Hold up. I don't know why. When say me no know me I talk about, me not follow generative AI. Me not understand. So I roll it out slowly. When me tell you something, everybody a compete. Whether they are Deep Seek, whether a new one that's come out the other day, whether they are Claude, whether they are Perplexity, everybody a compete. 1 second, me this thing and I connect. Hold up. So I don't know what oil I'm talk about. Everybody try to go to the market as soon as possible because everybody want to go public so they can get all whether your name Grok, all of them are try to compete to make as much money as possible. So I don't know what oil I'm talk about. Let me just wake up. It's not connecting now. Somehow give me 1 second. The phone is not connecting. I'm trying to get it linked up and it's not. It's decided to. All right. So if we can talk, so we can hear you. Hello? I'm hearing you, but the phone is not connected to the system. I don't know why. Let me try it again. All right, it's connected now. Go ahead.
Yep, Kranky.
Yeah, man.
Good night to you and
Who am I speaking to? Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Wayne Thompson.
Oh, Wayne. How you doing, Wayne? Nothing make out your voice.
Yeah, and I changed my phone also because I'm having a challenge with the other phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt compelled to call because I think you're on a path that I think is important for the football, and especially at this time. And it is my personal view that not everyone is only inspired by the football on the field, but there are persons who are inspired by knowing where an organization is going and how they can participate in the process. And this is where I think you are going, and I think you have hinted on that on a number of occasions. I think the challenge is to have the representation from the JFF to use the platform to communicate, where we would want to go with the football, some of the challenges. And I am sure a lot of the information that people want would come out even before we go on the field to play football.
Right.
Because if the organization is not successful in sharing and communicating its plans and getting the input or the input from the wider stakeholders, like YouTubers, notwithstanding the difficult conversations that I'm sure would be part of this process. If that is not happening, it's gonna take away somewhat from those who probably would want to participate.
Yeah, and I think
this is where
I want to say one thing, Wayne, which is I think people can understand this, which is YouTubers are sort of pseudo media. I wouldn't say they're full of media, right? They're evolving. They're trying to become more journalists. They're trying to be more better at their new profession, I'll call it. And they're also in the learning phase, right? And part of the challenge you run into is that some organizations want to be their friend and just want you to be supportive and not be critical when criticism is warranted. And you can't have it that way, because I would say this: if you go to any major footballing nation where they have independent press, a lot of times the press are unbiased. Sometimes they could be biased because they're human beings, but they're going to call it like they see it. And when the JFF think that certain people are overly critical, then they have function in certain environments, see certain environment where people are as harsh as it can be. And you're right about what you're saying, which is this, that we want to help. And sometimes we don't know how to, but we are frustrated with direction of travel.
So I strongly believe that if we're not having the conversation, we're going to shut out some persons, important persons. Because some listen to the conversation a lot more to see what is in it for me, how can I help? And in that regard, I'm sure information would be communicated that people don't have. I know sometimes we find it strange that the JFF would come out and say it really don't have the funds to run its program. And I'm sure the arms of the JFF would say the same thing, because it's very expensive to fund football in an environment that is not culturally supportive of the game. So you find that persons are not prepared to volunteer support if we're not winning. And this is where I think the conversation can be held at just one level or among certain people. It has to be widespread. And which is why I'm saying I was really motivated. You spoke about risk management. And I think that is a very important, I would say, tool that is needed for decision making, not just at the national level, but the arms of the football take its cue from the national body. And I'm sure if the national body start to do certain things openly, I think it's going to be easier for all of us to have the conversation. Because without a risk management framework, it's going to be difficult for us to assess these risks and decide, which option to take. And whichever option you take, what risk management that is needed to manage that particular option. So we started out with the FIFA. I mentioned to you about the FIFA Forward program.
Right.
Where I just want to clarify that there are funds that are available. Some of these funds you have to work to get it. Some are available up front. But there's a document I think I would love to circulate so that persons can understand the contribution being made to the sport. It's up to the JFF to come to say, this is what is required, because I know the budget for the program while I was there is a very expensive program to maintain. And when the funds are not coming in, so just imagine we would have qualified for the World Cup. If we had qualified, it would be a totally different conversation we're having. But I think part of it, we have to, and I say we because I'm still in the sport, and I'm not going to come here openly and criticize a body that I would have been a part of and still provide my own support. And we have to be prepared to have a discussion. And the discussion openly can start with a private discussion, where you set certain boundaries. But that still won't stop the difficult conversation, because we owe it to the public. And that is how we give an account to the public. So it's really a mind change that is needed. But where you're heading in terms of recognizing that it's not personalities we're supporting. You're supporting a product that you would love to see flourish. It has its own benefits, not just to certain stakeholders, all stakeholders, which is why if you look at the prize monies that the JFF would have allocated, over 300 million of that, it goes directly to clubs. So this is not a joke thing when we sit here on the platform. And I am sure different platform, you have different persons who will have their own views. But we have to tolerate that also. But at the same time, it's really a conversation that is needed. So now, for me, it's important that we see what the plans are. Because that in itself is a requirement, not just in football, to communicate your plans. Because stakeholders would seek, especially those who seek mutual benefits, would want to see how I can help. Not just to provide the funds, but also to help the organization in terms of its growth. The JFF predominantly, there's a lot that is required of the JFF. But the skills that are coming in are not like private companies out there where you are awash with funds and therefore you can get, the required skills to drive the program. Football is business, and you would have said it many times. It requires people who understand it, and sometimes these people are very expensive. So we come here and focus on the coach, and we focus on what is happening on the field, and that is important. But I think a very important conversation is, if we're starting at ground zero, year one, what are those expectations, our targets that we can all agree to? What is my role? What do you expect of me? And at the end of the day, we can check in every 3 months. I think it would enrich the conversation, and I believe a lot more persons would get involved, especially those who are capitalists.
When you're saying that engagement model you're talking about with the JFF?
And I'm saying I know that the JFF really, it's not about the JFF alone, but I can say up front, because I listened to these programs and I was there before, that the JFF, I don't think, take advantage of these programs. I don't think we take advantage
They
of it.
do when they believe the programs support what they're doing. So if the programs are advocates, then they'll jump on board and they'll give interviews. If they believe that the program may be critical of them and what they're doing, which is legitimate, then it's an adverse relationship that gets created.
Which is why I mentioned that we have to be able to tolerate the level of discussion that is needed. Because at the end of the day, it will support exactly what you were saying earlier, that you want to see the JFF being a successful organization, not because of the personalities, but because of your own motivation. It's your country, and you want to talk about it. You want to get the feeling that we are participating where the elites are. For example, would have missed the opportunity at the World Cup. I mean, everyone would have, and we're cheering just the same. Yeah. I'm sure many would have loved to see Jamaica. So I don't know how it will happen. I have done my own encouragement internally to say, let's utilize these programs to enhance the sport in whatever way. Because if it's even one person listening, one person come on and like your show and listen, you just don't know how influential that person is. Could grab another 1,000. And it helps you also, because once we start to have these conversations, I'm sure your interest of the viewership will be supported, and there are mutual benefits for everybody.
So here's what's interesting, Wayne, because the perception that some of these channels are just negative and all they do is negativity is not reflective of reality. Here's why. Maybe 7-8 years ago, when Arsene Wenger was the manager of Arsenal, and we were doing really bad, and if AFTV was rising, there was a view in many fans and the traditional media that AFTV was a cancer, right? Because a lot of people come and express their frustration about Arsenal. If you go today, people will say AFTV is on the opposite side, that they're too friendly with the club, they have been co-opted, because the club is winning. What normally happens is when you're losing, and the losing can be attributed to certain factors which are not okay, then people are going to be negative. Because what is there positive to talk about? If you're doing okay or well and you're winning, you're going to get the opposite effect. The JFA people don't seem to understand that. They take it personal when they get criticized. Now, sometimes people can get too personal, but they take it personal when they get criticized. When they're making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, and they compound them, and then they want to ostracize you. Well, if you ostracize people in the media, they got to express their perspective the way they see things, especially when what's happening on the field and in the boardroom is not satisfactory. If people can't understand that, I don't know what to tell them.
So, Kranky, remember, I'm not oblivious to what is happening here because I am listening and I'm doing my own assessment. And if you ask me if the JFF should take advantage of these programs, um, I would say a resounding yes. It won't hurt. Even if difficult conversations are being held, it won't hurt. Because at the end of the day, in any conversation at all, you're gonna have difficult conversations. But then when you're seeking to come up with solutions, which I mean, everybody wants to see the JFF move forward. I believe there will be the opportunity for us to discuss now how we can work together, how we can partner together. Because what is really needed at this level is a lot of collaboration, a lot of partnerships, working to see how we can impress those that are important, not just players. Because once the organization is well oiled and attractive to persons looking in, you will get the players and you will get the input from those where it matters. So, as I say, I like the conversation, and I don't know of a YouTube program that is just bashing. Yes, you have some persons who would come on, and sometimes you really have no control over that, who would just bash all the time. But that we have to live with. I've spent many years in the football, and it's a lot of bashing. But you have to rise to a particular level where you understand and recognize who is the big man in the room or the big lady in the room and what your objectives are. Because I will tell you this, that once you take that position, things will get better. But if you take a defensive position, that is what you're going to get out of the sport. So I just want to use my this opportunity to, first of all, encourage the kind of leadership that being shown here. You talk about strategic planning. You talk about my only disappointment, by the way, as I mentioned, that is just a pity you didn't utilize that relationship between yourself and Chung to start some of those discussions where you force the targets and have persons commit to it, and then over time you come and tell us how you would have performed. Not what you do, but what you would have done in relation to what you would have planned.
Right.
And those conversations are also important because that's what accountability is all about.
Yeah, and I do think some of the challenge that we face is that, when the JFF was running for office, they will do, like most politicians do, what's necessary to get elected, and then they forgot what got them elected, right? So when you were part of the other group that came up with your plans and they copied part of it, they didn't copy some things right, and they come out with it. But they never come. But they don't feel an obligation to come back. And they're saying we're a pseudo public organization or a pseudo private organization. We're not obligated to you. But they were obligated to the public when they were trying to get public support, even though public can't vote, to get into office. And the mark of a good person or a good politician is trying to execute against your commitments, because people will remember a year or 2 years down the road. And if you really are a patriot, if you really are a nationalist, you're going to do things in the best interest of the country, not just of yourself. Doesn't mean that you won't benefit, but you always have the country in mind and what's best for the country. And that's part of my criticism, which is I think people are sometimes conflating their own self-interest with the country's interest, and sometimes they don't align and they can't see that. Or they'll think they're doing it in the best interest of the country, but it's about themselves and they can't take a step back, or they're not in an environment where they have effective challenge to say, you know what? Somebody can criticize you. You don't take it personal. You digest the criticism. You assess the criticism. It has validity. And then you may make some changes. I don't see that's happening. And in some of these organizations, we have one or two people who have all the voices. And at the end of the day, no one else contributed to the conversation. They don't have enough intellectual capital in the room to generate the conversation or the challenge that's needed. And you end up where you end up. there is no way in God's name, I must say that McLaren should have remained coach for the football. Because we may blame the players and the JFF, but he should not be the coach because he was part of the problem, not part of the solution. There's no, say he got the job, which he probably shouldn't have gotten, and people were criticizing from day one. He shouldn't have been the role he was in. And when he failed, we compounded it by adding to the failure. That's not how you do business. You sometimes have to cut your losses unless the person has been proven and recent outcomes are important to assess capability. Because what you do 20 years ago may not matter in today's environment. So I appreciate the call, Wayne. I appreciate the call, sir.
It's a pleasure. And political maturity is important, but I think it's a function of your personality also and how you take yourself seriously.
True.
I always encourage people not to, it's not about you. So don't take yourself personally. But you see, I also encourage persons also after an election, just remember, it's a time for it. Once the election is over, it means campaigning is over. And what is needed now is for us to be mature enough to recognize that process you would have participated. Because not many of us is prepared to participate, by the way, politically, no matter how much you talk. But once you would have gotten over that hurdle and you lose, you have to manage your own ego or negative emotions, because at the end of the day, what is needed is, as you would have put it, is the level of cooperation and support, because it's not about us, it's about the greater good.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, sir.
All the very best, man.
All right, thanks.
Yes, yeah.
All right. That was Wayne Thompson, former member within the JFF organization, who provide counsel to persons, who provide counsels to individuals, both inside and outside the organization. Good night. Who am I speaking to? We see the number. I laugh. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Good night. This is not a former. This is still the current head of the Reggae Boyz Ultras.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, one cataract. I'm not on the app. It's still one cataract. And good night to you. Good night to the man them in the chat and 122 people. Just a couple of minutes before I head out to go play the great cataract sound.
You mean to open for somebody? You mean you're going to be the opening? Wait. When you say you're going to go out and play and then people say, oh, cataract a bit, so you're going to open for somebody for the real DJ that come afterward, right? Is that what happened? You're the introductory song.
In this immediate time, I will be playing the early warm. That's what it's called. Down at Almontown. Great Georgia Street. And then I will proceed to go and do play my Latin music, at which I am the man.
Okay.
But
Latin music. People, you can really get to Latin music in camp. They're dancing. Go on.
Latin music is hard.
Go on, man. Go on. The floor is yours. The floor is yours. And Jamaica play Latin music. Go on. No Spanish people on there. Go on, man.
No, Spanish people, more than we think, actually. It's not concerning, but I'm just saying it would be very illuminating to know that there's a full Latin club every night with a lot of Latin American people here, a lot of people from Cuba, a lot of Colombians, a lot of Panamanians, but particularly Cubans and Colombians are here en masse.
Okay.
Doing the regular job, driving Uber, doing tiling. Just bought an apartment and it was a Colombian tilers. Yeah. So some of the jobs where we are not taking with our skill sets and stuff, our trust, I don't know what's happening there. These persons are coming in and taking the manual labor, some skilled labor and just regular jobs. A lot of Uber drivers are Spanish. Lots of them. Quite a few. Let me put quite a few. But yeah. But I'll call it really on a sad note. Kranky, I sent you a flyer. But it's with great regret that I have to take the opportunity to announce the death, the passing, Fire Skang, aka Fire, who I met in 1996 when I came to Jamaica. That's 30 years ago.
Right.
And we have stood together at the same spot under the Jamaica flag. I don't know the genesis for how I ended up right up there. I really don't know, but right under the Jamaica flag at the half line, we have stood there side by side for 30 years. And he has passed. Years of lived in the Maxfield.
No more fire, eh?
No more fire.
No more fire.
But let me tell you, he was for those who know Ziggy's restaurant in Constant Spring, the plaza of Constant Spring Road, Derek Harriet Plaza. He was the chef.
Okay.
Baddest man and a steamed fish. Yeah, man. Baddest man and a steamed fish. But love Waterhouse. Support of Waterhouse is from Maxfield Avenue. Everybody know in Jamaica I have an affinity to Arnett Gardens. But one of the things that up at half line with the ultras, they're men from everywhere. He was among a group of Waterhouse supporters who would be there. Love your rum. He used to help me drink off the gallons of rum. But he was the man who used to pour the rum, you know. The fire. But
I don't know why you guys drink so much rum. It's not good for you.
Well, listen.
I can understand people have problems and they want to drown their problems. But apart from that, I don't understand why people drink rum.
No, but if you look at English football, when I growing up and seeing them start drinking from 11 o'clock when the pub opens.
Don't talk about people. People in England have no sense when it comes to drinking. First of all, if you go to Covent Garden on a Friday night and you out there, you know, they're moved away from like 2 a.m. But if you go to Covent Garden on a Friday night, it's crazy. People get hit down by a car. It's madness. Madness. Total madness.
It's crazy out of Covent Garden. Crazy.
Madness.
But I guess what people would say in Birmingham is the same at the Bull Ring in Birmingham City Centre.
People get smashed. I mean, they can't recognize themselves. That's why, yeah, it's. I don't understand the logic, but then again, I don't drink, so I guess I can understand it.
So, you know, but he always had a dream that we would have gone to the World Cup and stood side by side.
But we all have a dream that they will come true for this earth. We all have a dream that dream ain't coming through. The dream is getting further and further away. It's been what? 28 years?
Yeah, honestly, I learned it for
some people that's a lifetime, you know. That's not a good thing.
But the man represent to me from the heart of Jamaican football. Because I came there and met them there. Remember me, they supported Jamaica when we used to get beaten from Martinique, those little islands. So one time that we went here and they have no jersey. I think they had to borrow some jersey from Boys Town, I think it was.
It must be a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember the man there from the 90s, you know, bro.
Oh, okay.
Early 90s.
That sounds more like 70s. Borrow jersey.
No. It wouldn't be that far back. They told us one time we had to play. I've heard it up there when we had to play in white and they had to draw on the numbers with pen. So they're coming a far away. I just joined in and you know. But
so what your thoughts about the upcoming Nations League?
I think Rudolph Speed need to pray to the same God and sleep on the same side of the bed that he slept on. We are in the easier zone.
Well, apparently he's done that because he has a coaching job for at least another 6 months at a minimum. And maybe much longer because they ain't got no money.
We're in the zone. But I share on that, but I just want to let me speed up. I think so Fire, the man his favorite ball at our time, was Shorty Malcolm. We revere Shorty Malcolm up there. Can't remember who during the time, but I know certainly in the last years, me and him, one of the strongest man to say Anthony Grant. But it's really heartbreaking that Jamaicans, we never got to saw our team in the World Cup. And whole heap of other team. Jordan. I mean, it is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. So the Nation League, I'm not one that I'm not going to boycott the games and do something, but I'll be very vocal against the coach. I'm not a,
I don't think you should do that.
I'm not in no rude and speed argument, brother.
I don't think you should be vocal against the coach. I don't see why.
I believe that you stand for something or you fall for anything. And I've always been one standing for something. Against the coach, the process of selecting the coach, this whole corrupted, my view, my word, thing where you you downgrade the qualification to fit a particular person, and every man and his dog knows that you need a pro-licensed coach. If it's one of the lessons I've learned from the World Cup is it don't matter where you're born. If you're good enough, you need to be recruited. The person, the gentleman that scored the goal, the opening goal of the match was a black Colombian, born in Colombia, playing for Mexico. No one gives a rat's ass, bro.
Right.
And the second that I learned is that coaching and tacticians have a place in football. You can be out-coached. You can be out-coached.
Or you can out-coach yourself like Tuchel did. Out-coach yourself.
Okay,
you can out-coach yourself. You can out-coach yourself.
Yeah, you can. You can out-coach yourself. You can put tackles on players and them thing there, and when you should have just released the man them to just go on.
Exactly.
But if you look at a number of the pro licensed coaches, you could see the tacticians in the man. You could people who strangled games, people who brought teams back from 2-0 down to 2. You know, I mean, it was really a coaching masterclass, this World Cup. I have to say it.
I don't think there were a ton of coaching masterclass. I think there were some good coaching decisions. I think there were more bad decisions by coaches than good decisions in a lot of instances. I'm telling you, if I can go through all the games, France, Spain, England, the 2 semifinal game, the Argentina game, I think there's so many decisions coaches made which cost their team their games. Now, hindsight is always good, right? Because when England did the same thing against Mexico, except they were down to 10 men. They were they were playing a high altitude versus against.
I didn't say it was.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't say it was a perfect class of coaching because obviously errors were made.
Right.
Some of the penalty shootout debacles that happened pointed to some non-preparation for that eventuality, which
or people just cave under pressure. Cause pressure still, you a sound clash, and if you draw a certain tune, you try the wrong tune, because pressure reach it. You know them thing they go. You should know.
Well, you do. You have a tune in mind, and somebody says something, you forget it. But I think the biggest poo-poo in the World Cup would have been Thomas Tuchel in the second half for the substitutions.
Actually, Tuchel's decision, Tuchel made bad decisions before the game started. In fact, before he went to the World Cup. Took some wrong players, left some good players at home, then got to the World Cup and keep making bad decisions after bad decisions after bad decisions. And it culminated in the semi-final game when you had people like Saka and the friends who came out later and saying, I was fit. And he has Rodgers playing right wing. Rodgers is not a right winger. And he did nothing in the game. He took off right off the field and then he put on a bunch of about 100 defenders against a team that was struggling to break them down. And then couldn't head a ball. Every ball going in the box, the 6'4", 6'5" man them can't head it, and the 5'2" man them head the ball. It's not. Here's the worst thing about this: when you hear everyone is saying the same thing, not just after the game, but before the game and during the game, and you come on and say you were right, even though the outcome didn't suggest that, then you know you're not listening. You know your ego is you're too arrogant. So like the JFF.
But he would say that he took England to the semi-finals of the World Cup. So
England has been the luckiest team in the history of football over the last 5 or 6 tournaments. They always listen, cataract. I'm not asking, I'm telling you. Watch the draws that England get. England has been the luckiest team. In this World Cup was the same thing. England missed Belgium. England missed France. England missed Spain. England played DR Congo and struggle. Played Ghana and struggle. Argentina team where people can't play football. Come on.
That much hurt.
Same thing was the same thing in the Euros. Now England have good players, you know. They have good players. But they've been getting the fortunate side of the draw in almost 5 tournaments since 2018 World Cup. 2018 World Cup. 2022 they ran into France quarterfinals. So that was not that good draw. But this last World Cup, the last 2 Euros, they got good draws. And they have made the best of them. They should never have lost to Argentina team that was not a good team. Have some good players, but not a good team. You have Otamendi playing defense. For Christ's sake. Come on.
And you say Anthony man can't play.
Anthony old man Grant.
This time came.
It's time this game.
He's gonna play another season actually. He's signed for the
why he playing National
team
League?
owned by Wilf Zaha and Stormzy, but the Croydon FC. He'll do another season.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I hear you.
Well, let me have international football. We accept what have been.
So where are you playing this evening? So fans in Jamaica want to come and listen to you open this sound system. Where are you playing?
Georgia Street in Almantown Taboo. And then afterwards I'll be at Woodven Road opposite the JPS. Carico La Fiesta.
Oh, tonight is Friday, isn't it? It is okay. Well, I hope you have a good night. You make some patrons happy. Make some patrons happy.
I have fans. I have die-hard fans. What are you talking about? Die-hard. Some people have no ambition. Some people have no ambition. All the people have fans of cataract.
And an ambition. But anyway, that's how life is. Some people have ambition. They're your fans. You play. First of all, I'm not going on a session where I listen to the opening act. You know what I say? No, opening act. You're the big DJ.
What happens in these things is that, particularly in dancehall, there are actually 2 parties in one. Okay. The one where the older people come. So right now, I'm going to play about 2 hours of soul's music and them something there, and probably some 80s dancehall.
Okay.
And 90s. I'll probably go up to. I don't think I'll reach the 90s.
All right. Well, I'll wrap up now, so we can't talk to you no much longer. 2 hours.
Yeah, but
I appreciate the cost, and I'm sorry to hear about your colleague and friend and ultra person who passed away.
I mean, a few men have dropped out, but I mean, this one hit close. This is one of the founders of the thing.
Yeah.
But as I said, thanks for taking the call and let me highlight a brethren.
Yeah, man.
They got the whole of the offline crew anyway. Them start, I think it's September again before we link up. I hope no other man drop out. But big up the man in a foreign yard and broad.
Yeah, man. Bless up. Have a good night tonight. Have a good night.
Yeah, man.
All right, bless.
All right. Good, bless.
All right. I'm gonna drop a people. But before I go, I'm gonna drop I had a squad that I put together. A quick squad. So people send me some message. Me, I look for it now. People send me some prayer thing. People know some I go to church. Some people not having certain people conversation. Oh no. Too late. Let me see a thing too late. Here's the squad I have, people. Here's the squad I have. And then I go. Yeah, we all come to it. When you lose friends, it's very, very tough. And the older you get people just seem to die like nothing I tell the people. I got so much funeral nowadays. I think I've gone to more funeral this year than I've gone to any other year in my entire life. Seriously. Too much of them. I don't want nobody dead for the rest of the year. Too many. But I came up with a team. Here's my squad. These are the preliminary squad people. Just put it together. It's I would do it quickly this evening as I was thinking about the team. I'm not really focused on goalkeeper, so that I'm not focused on. But in the defense, I pick some players here. I'm thinking about a preliminary squad. Now we're recruiting some more players. I'm hearing. I don't know how many. But here is the list of 26 players I came up with, just preliminarily. I'm sure Rudolph and his team has about 50, which he's going to narrow down like he did last time. And we're based on how players are, what position they're in. But this is a list I came up with. It's not a concrete list. I think I've retired some players from the team, from my team. Retired some players. You can see the one that may retire, right? If you look at the defense, now focus on the goalkeeper. I've retired Damian Lowe. I was going to retire Ethan Pinnock, but I didn't have any left-sided centre-back, so I had to put him back in. So I retired Damian Lowe. He's been a valiant servant for the country, but I think he's at a point now where it's time to consider management, Damian. I retired Holgate, even though he wasn't called for the last round. I think those days are long gone. If you think about left back, I have Rico Henry and Ronaldo Webster, both of whom have acclaimed themselves. In the middle of the park, I have King and Pinnock. And frankly, if I could retire those two, I'd probably retire. When I retire King, I'm too young, but there are levels to this thing. Ethan Pinnock, he missed too much window for me. Still good player. I thought he should retire, but he played well. And at some point, we have to think about what the transition is going to be and how we're going to transition players out. If you think about 2030 and next year Gold Cup. Ian Frey, and I thought it's not Brandon Cooper. It should be Brandon Cover. I don't know why Brandon Cooper. I thought Brandon Cover was excellent in the Unity Cup. It's not Cooper, people. It's supposed to be Cover. But change that. Spelled wrong. Man, try to do this too quickly. I have a Maribel there as a CF thing. So we have 3 left back. We have 2 right back. Cover right back. Free right back. We have Amaribel as a centre back / left back. You can play centre back. I am missing a centre back. Now I may have Lati too. So Lati probably will start with. I have too many locally born players in my starting squad. Because Lati would start with Ethan, Rico Henry a left back, and Brandon Cover right back. So there's no locally born players in my starting 11. I'm starting defense. In midfield, Hayden is going close to his spine, across his spine, but we have no better CDM. But at some point, we need to find a replacement for Hayden. So like a Hayden, a Tyrese Hall, who's actually now training with the Tottenham first team. We'll see what happens because Zibers is in another workout, but Tyrese Hall is away on duty with the first team, I think. And we'll see what Tottenham does with him. Do they send him out on loan or keep him? But I thought he was very good when he played in the knockout. I thought he looked very good, but it was only against India, so we have to see him against better competition. But I thought he played decent. So if I was going to pick a midfield today, it'd be Hayden. I like Courtney Clark a lot in the India game and also in the Nigeria game. I thought Courtney Clark distinguished himself. So we are going different. It may be Hayden, Clark, and Hall. If you want to put Casey Palmer instead of somebody. And I think about how Louis Baker, if him fit or not. Then up front, it would have to be a difficult choice. I won't pick anybody up front yet. I like the forward players. I don't have Bobby Reed in my team. I don't have Russell in my team. I don't have Bailey in my team. I think certain players should pursue other avenues, to be honest. I don't have Nicholson in my team. I don't have Dixie in my team. I think if Rudolph wants to win, as I said at the outset, he has to make some very tough decision. We have more, and Rudolph said he had about 5 players. These are the ones I've seen. Only Tyrese, who played in the knockout game, and Courtney I have, and Brandon Cover. It says Brandon Cover. There should be Brandon Cover from before. I don't have Bailey in my team. I think Bailey has played enough for Jamaica and shown me enough to say he's no better than anybody else may have on my team. He's no better than Tyrese Campbell. He's no better than Efran Mason Clark. He's no better than Cephas. Now, you guys may think that's ludicrous because he played in the Premier League. But I don't see him playing over any of those players, to be honest. Andre Brooks didn't have a good outing for Jamaica, but he's not a bad football player. I think he changed things this year. I don't even think Bailey's better than Whisper, from where I sit. Now, that may sound mad for some people. I'm telling you what I've seen. I don't think Bailey has not been more productive than Cephas for Jamaica. It's not even close. Cephas don't get the ball and fall long every single time. I'll commit 32 turnovers with 50 touches. Cephas not do them thing there. If Cephas touch the ball 30 times, at least 2 going to be effective. Cephas not touch the ball enough, or I'm playing some of the game. But I'm going off what I've seen. I'm not going off where you're playing. Now Fuller would be a question sign around that. But it's a preliminary team, people. We have enough time to go before now. Well, not a lot of time, but some time to go. There's additional. I don't have Cameron Archer here. Cameron Archer in paper. I know Max Aaron should be getting his papers. But until I get commitment from those players that they're going to necessarily want to play, there's no Dixon in my team. There's no space for Dixon. And Cameron Archer is not here. Max Aaron is not here. I think we should also go pursue Jonathan Rowe. Yeah, Jonathan Rowe is going to go from a lot of clubs are trying to get Jonathan Rowe. Jonathan Rowe has his papers. And no, he didn't commit to Jamaica. But at some point, this kid's got to realize they're not going to play for England. If you play for England, you're going to be like Andrew Tony. We don't make a good case for these kids, you know. We don't tell people like Tony that, look, you'll get 5 minutes in one game and account. I play for England, sit behind Harry Kane. You know, play over Kane. Now, some kids may want to take that chance, because Kane may get injured. But we have to make a compelling argument to these kids when recruiting them to say, look, you come to Jamaica, we're not guaranteeing no game, but you have more likelihood to play than go somebody else. I had a conversation about Keenan Davis with somebody, and they were in 2 NTUs. So I'm not sure if Keenan Davis will come in. I did have that conversation. I don't think Keenan will come in. First of all, Keenan want to play for England. And some people just have these unrealistic view of life. Lord help them. So them can't stay. We're not pushing nobody to come play. Freckleton, the discussion has been, I don't know what the story is with Freckleton or Sterling. There's a bunch of other players, right? But I think Rudolph has to give himself as wide a breadth as possible in terms of possible pursuits of individuals. But these are the players that I have on my list so far. As I said, Brandon Cover should be Brandon. I was very impressed with Brandon Cover, by the way, who can also play in the CDM position. But we have to start, some players have to start retiring because either they're not being productive in the national team or they're getting up there in age. Janera Johnson, I had Van Watering in this squad, but I took him out because I thought Ian Frey and Brandon Cover would be the right backs and not. I don't have Lemba Kisa either. A lot of players we're going to be missing. There's a lot of players, people out there nowadays, who have them papers, And some of the younger ones, we got to think about, are there any other under 20 player, apart from Watering, we can think about who may want to come in, who think are good enough. The kid from New York, Red Bulls? I'm sure he's getting better. So, yeah, there are a lot of players. Deshaun Bernard is back. I don't know. Bernard has been out for about 2 years. And I have no information on Bernard to put him in the squad. Now, Bernard will be competing with King, because to me, Lati and Mason Clark are going to be playing Premier League this year, so we'll see how that work out. If Lampard keep them, will that go? We don't have no Mason Green. Mason Green, to me, in that Turkey now, in probably history. We don't focus on Mason Green. We are focusing on realistic targets, not unrealistic targets. But Frey and Cover be right back. Recon, Webster left back. Those are good cover we have in those two positions now. Centre back, we have some challenge. Centre back is a challenge for us. I mean, we have Pinnock, we have King, we have Lati, but centre back is a challenge. Yeah, I've heard the name. I don't know much about him, actually. There are some of the players in them 30 retire Kranky. Carrot man in them 20s. Well, England retired Trent Alexander-Arnold, or Tuchel retiring in 20s. I lie, I tell you, Gary retired in them 20s. Tuchel not think him good enough. I am not saying certain players are not good enough. I'm just saying they have I don't want to play on my team who is a liability versus an asset. I don't want to play on my team who are liability versus an asset. If you're going to be in my team, you have to add value. If you're not adding enough value, you can't be in a team. Look how young you want to be. Ricardo said, Pinnock can retire. I'm not going to fight that. But Pinnock was good the last time he played for Jamaica. In fact, when Pinnock come in a big game, Pinnock play good. Pinnock really have a bad game for Jamaica. That is true, DC world. I think so. That's a pause at a retirement. But it's a long pause. Because if Tuchel had the manager for the next 2 years, him not get no game. Tuchel brought, what's his name? Chalaba instead of bring, and he want right back. James injured. Leverman injured. I'm still not bring Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's a long pause that. By the time the pause done in 9:30s, so I'm retire. I know who you're talking about now, Dirty Harry. Him can't play on my team. Him not produce when him play for him can't play on my team. Sorry. And him end up on the cusp of 32. Him soon reach 30. He can't play on my team. He not do nothing positive for the team. Except cause confusion. He man coach, he man this, he man administrate. No, sir. Do your thing. Stay where you're there. Make your money. Live your good life. Stay where you're there. We don't need your headache. And I want the player to do well, by the way. I want him to do well. I want him to go wherever he's going, the new team, and do really, really well. But stay from the team, man. Yes, you're right about that. That is there were two of them that played. Lang played and he played left back. I know what you're talking about. He played well. Hopefully he gets some move. You know, I think he's getting up there in age, but hopefully he gets some move. I did look at his name today, actually. But he couldn't get out Rico Henry or Webster. That's why I didn't put him in. But I know what you're talking about. Good player. He equipped himself well in both games, actually. I don't disagree with you, Vaughn, but he's trying to get certain players whose papers are not what they should be. Vaughn is very difficult. Aspirationally, yes. And I think Jamaica, Rudolph, I don't know how much recruiting. I know recruiting is being done, but I'm not sure we're being as thoughtful about the recruiting as we should be. And we are pushing for certain players like we should. And campus, if that's the case, I hope that materializes. If you have confidence in him and he can develop, because he's not that sure starter, and he's playing in a league where his team is not doing that well, and he's still not a guaranteed starter. So, but Kranky, if you want him to do well, and he might do well, speed after playing once, he might do well. First of all, man, the coach not get along, Dirty Harry. You know that, me know that. Man, the coach not get along. Second of all, even when he was doing brilliantly at Villa, he not play well for the national team. Now, what sample size? He play about 40-something games for the national team now. That's a huge sample size, you know. And I like now 5 or 6 games, you can't say, boy, I don't know what to tell you. He was tearing up in Belgium, teared up in Germany, in fight with the administration. And then coming at the team, him not do well. Him go Villa tear it up, him coming at the team, him not do well. Him got something there, come back in that team, him not do well. How much more evidence we need? Now fight the player, how much evidence you need? If Rudolph bring him in and him do well, more power to him. Me want him go in club team, do brilliant, maximizing potential. My only suggestion to him is start think football versus just play football. If you don't think the game, or you might think the game too much, because maybe he's not being as instinctive as he normally is. You have to know when to pass the ball, when to keep the ball. You have to know when to play a defense, and when you can take a breather. And when me watch him play football, me not see no brain being exercised. All me not see him just a player. Kranky leave the ball alone. And me bring him up. Somebody's bring him up. Me not care nothing about the baller. Me not put money in him pocket, not put money in my pocket. Me not really care about him. I want him to do well. I've said that numerous times. People like who don't get perturbed, Hugh Williams. No value to the national team. I think he has papers challenges. I don't think that's with professional, unprofessional team. No, we want the best players. We want the best players that fit what the coach is trying to do. We don't necessarily want all the best players. We want the best players that satisfy the coach's objective. There's a slight difference there between just getting the best players on paper, but players who can align with what you're trying to achieve and can fit into your system. That's why some coaches don't take certain players. You know, a plan to put Busy in the team. Well, I mean, look, if you're Rudolph Speed, you may have certain allegiance, you know, but you have to be very careful. Okay, if you don't give yourself the best chance to win, people are going to come for you with cutlass and whatever else, not literally, figuratively, especially given what transferred the World Cup with the World Cup situation. Now, Rudolph didn't hurt himself with the knockout game because he wasn't expected to beat DR Congo, and he didn't do terribly. But he also has to understand that if him bias and pick certain players and pick certain, for example, if Whisper is playing well, Whisper should be in the squad. He should be in the squad as compared to other players. He can't just be in the squad because he play well and somebody that play better than he's playing. Tyrese Campbell, for example, if you look at the game that we played against DR Congo, Tyrese Campbell was one of our best players and he got taken out of the game. Other people weren't playing well and get left in the game. It made no sense. Kranky, the best, I swear. If YouTube is the best thing about Jamaica football, then we're not trouble. You need to do you know what? I probably will do that, you know. But here's the thing, people. The system I think we should employ is not a system that most Jamaican coaches advocate. They advocate kick and run football. They advocate using our physical attributes as if we don't have a brain. And to me, the France-Spain differentiation tells you something about intellect in football. France have very technical players, you know, and they have a lot of athletes. Spain have athletes, but they're not like the France athletes, but they have a system, and the system totally destroyed a France team that was running roughshod through the tournament. They annihilated. You think about the Spain team and the team that plays in Spain. And here's what's interesting about Spain people. Porro and Cucurella, who play for Tottenham and Chelsea respectively, they're good left and right back, and Cucurella has improved continuously since that Brighton go to Chelsea. But at the end of the day, they weren't necessarily world beaters. Good night.
Hey, Kranky, what's going on?
Not much. What am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is actually Jay. I'm just calling you from a different number.
Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah, you know, World Cup was definitely needed. I see that, you see the commercial where they talked about, I think it was an Airbnb commercial where they said that Jamaican sound system went to Europe or went to London and they got punk music.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay. You should check that commercial out. The reason why I bring it up is because it shows how bad that they was ready for Jamaica to forward into the World Cup. They ran it enough times on Fox and all the big networks. So, and they showed, 98, 98 scenes.
Well, we were involved with the World Cup. Spain played some dancehall music at them celebration, so we were involved with the World Cup. If you watch a Spain celebration, first of all, I couldn't even understand some of the patois. I never listened to the patois, but that's another story. That's another story, Jay. But go ahead, Jay.
I'm gonna try to find that. I'm gonna try to find that commercial. Cause I know other people seen it and was talking about it. Cause it's like, man, they was really planning for us. But yeah, moving forward now, you know what I'm saying? I think like that front tree, cause I'm all about the talent on the field. I think we got to roll with Ramon Burrell up top. You know what I'm saying? Out left, we got to roll with Mason Clark. You know what I mean? Cephas, I got to big up Cephas and his agent because that move to Karabakh in Azerbaijan was a great move for Cephas because he's going to get Europe minutes now. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, he may also get playing time. He was getting playing time beginning of the year, but he wasn't getting playing time before the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and you remember that team upset Chelsea, and like they played. Man, those games are big for exposure and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think Cephas, if Cephas get the right, well, we can't talk about the coaching. If Cephas learn to make the right decision, that's a big if. Cephas can be okay.
yeah, I just think it was a smart move from his agent to get him out of Russia and get him in that league, because you know what I always said about Cephas, he's so fast, he should be in a league where everybody else is slow, and then he'll probably even
But Cephas is fast in any league. Seriously.
Yeah, there's some other leagues where people could probably.
No, I'm telling you, Cephas is fast in any league. His 0 to 60 is 0 to 15, 20 is ridiculous. He just doesn't make the best decisions.
If he's doing that in certain leagues where there's more athletic players, then those players is going to be able to cope with that better than Azerbaijan.
That is true. That is true.
What ball? I mean, I know they import some ballers, but yeah, go to a league where the country's not known for its. That aspect, you know what I'm saying, and that'll boost him up even more. So I see he scored a goal in his first qualifying game in Europa League, so that was good.
I think when Cephas came on the other day again in the knockout when we played DR Congo, I think Cephas looked better than some other person was playing in the position he was put in eventually. See, I can't call no name because people say I'm criticizing a certain baller, but Cephas came on, looked much more effective than certain people who were out there for the whole 120 minutes.
I'm just glad he's out of the war zone and all that. And then, because it seemed like the whole the ballers that was getting contracts in a war zone, like Israel and Russia and everywhere where there's
that part of the world has money though, right?
Yeah.
Well, Russia got oil money, Middle East have oil money, a lot of oil money.
Didn't a baller just sign for a Ukrainian team? I'm like, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, so moving forward, so now on the right side, hey, just go with my youth, Brooks. We got to go with Brooks on the right side. You know what I'm saying? Bailey, if he goes to Ting there,
to Hull
City. Yeah, hopefully he can stay healthy and just, keep with some.
So you play Bailey in your team?
Yeah, I would still bring him in for experience. And because look, man, like even in the World Cup, you see that like, a lot of these teams don't just dash where they like players. Like you could find a way to utilize them if they still want to be down with the program to where, listen, you might not start, but you can come in and give a quality 30 minutes.
Okay.
That could help us.
Okay.
You really want to know something that I really thought about too the other day is, when the rails come off the thing for Reggae Boyz World Cup campaign, you know what day that you could really point to and say, this is where things really went awry, is the day that Mikel Antonio meeting at a car crash.
That's an interesting point. We'll never know, but it's an interesting point. He was a sense of stability at center forward because we had a lot of change in that position. Katamardi came, looked good initially, then fell off. We tried Borrell there, we tried Nicholson there, none of that worked. He wasn't a great goal scorer for Jamaica. He's a scorer of great goals. But what he does was he was a presence when he was on the field. So yeah. Interesting.
I believe if he was getting some decent minutes, you know what I'm saying, like if that car crash never happened, in the qualifying game against Curacao, Mikel Antonio can grab the game by the scruff of the neck and get a goal and try drag us over the line. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about getting a goal. I think he can occupy defenders. He wasn't scoring a lot of goals. But I think what he does really well, he occupies defenders. And others could run off him. And if you have the problem we have is we didn't have a lot of goal scoring on the field. I mean, Borrell scores a lot for QPR, wasn't getting the service. Cephas were creating games, but they weren't the more difficult games. It wasn't against the Trinidads of the world, even though he did score against Trinidad in one of the games. It wasn't against the Curaçao of the world. We needed differentiators against the Curaçao of the world, and we didn't have the differentiators on the field. I mean, when Whisper came on, he looked like he could do something. Then the penalty wasn't given, but Cephas didn't do much. We didn't have a lot of differentiators against the better teams, and that's what we need. Someone can create something out of nothing if they're not getting the service they need.
And my argument would have been like, yeah, Mikel Antonio maybe don't start, but last 20 minutes or so, bringing him against that experience. I mean, look, he scored the first goal we ever had in Copa America against a real tough Ecuadorian team in that match. That was a big match. Those are the type matches where you need somebody to do something special, whether it's goal or assist or, you know, winning a penalty or something. That's what I think he would have been able to do. But, you know, that's neither here nor there at this point.
But he's playing in the mid. The question is, he over for Jamaica? He's playing in the Middle East, isn't he? So I don't know what that looks like.
I think that contract is not in effect no more. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, you know, he took a whole year to find a club, and that was the thing that was kind of shocking to me. I was like, damn, bro, I guess you don't really too much care about qualifying for World Cup, because it was like one team after another on trial, and I guess they were trying to sign him on some type of, you know, contingency thing to where they're not saying, listen, it's not going to be guaranteed. And I would have figured he would have took that, but you know, it is what it is. That's his choices. You know, if you feel like, yo, I'm owed a certain guaranteed amount of money, even with a broke leg, it is what it is.
Yep.
But you know, yeah. But I think that front three, I think that is a solid front three. You know, Burrell, Mason Clark, and then Andre Brooks. I think we could work with that. And then, you know, we just got to figure out that midfield. That's, you know, that's the real conundrum.
I think Speed like Tyrese Campbell too. I can tell. Speed likes Campbell. Campbell plays both ways, and not a prolific goal scorer, and that's what we like. We don't have any prolific goal scorers. We don't have like a Mason Greenwood or a Tony when he was playing lower league football. We don't have a player who is a prolific scorer in the team. Period. Even when Antonio was playing, he wasn't a prolific scorer. He's a scorer of great goals, but he wasn't a prolific scorer. Yeah. And that's the problem for us. We when we had the Peter Sheltons of the world way back when, you know, those are prolific scorers. We don't have any prolific scorer in the team. And if you look across the entire team, we have no prolific scorer.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why I still think they still need to keep recruiting, and Cameron Archer.
But Archer has fallen off a cliff. Archer, he was good for Southampton, playing the Premier League, quick, dynamic. Archer has fallen off a cliff. I have no idea what happened. I have some football.
He had an off season. It happens sometimes, but he could bounce back because he's very young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so he is young. I would agree.
Yeah, because they're saying he's probably gonna move to damn, I forget the name of that club, but he's gonna move to another club in the championship.
Not surprising.
Yeah, so once that happens and he gets some minutes, I would say Jamaica should try and cap him, because they need the depth at forward. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, there's some good moves out there, some good things happening in the transfer market. I see Travante got a transfer to Turkish Super League, so they got to bring him back in if he starts doing something. So I think there's some stuff to look forward to. But yeah, the rest of the team, them that qualified for the World Cup and got that 12 million US, you know, Haiti with Isidore and them. I mean, come on, man, they done left us, you know, and they got
Haiti's recruiting. Haiti don't even have a country to go play. They can't even play at home. And they're recruiting players, and players. You know what players do? Players follow success. So if you're successful, players want to be part of you. It's not just players. It's just life in general. You're a successful organization. Players want to be part of that success. That's what Haiti's experiencing. That's what Curacao is experiencing. That's what we're not experiencing. If we had gone to the World Cup, we'd get more players to come in with more pedigree, or younger, or have ability, or potential to play for England national team. They would consider Jamaica be an option. If you can't even make the World Cup and you're in a zone with Trinidad, Curacao, and Bermuda, why would I want to come play for you? And if you haven't done a good job trying to recruit me, because you think I should, as JFF, people would tell me, they should come out and sign up for us, and why do we have to pursue them? Well, you say that with your little arrogant self in your little corner with no money, people gonna come play for you, versus go pursuing them as if, why you at Morocco out there, talking to people from their 10, 15 years old, trying to get them to come join the organization, and you have your attitude, stay where you are. And then you're going to lambast them by saying it's not working, we have to go local. And you look local, you can't find anybody local who have the requisite skill set because you haven't trained in the right way. We're in chronic problem.
Look at a baller like Jed Spence. Look how long we was looking at Jed Spence before, like, you know, he was on the radar of England. Ivan Toney, another one. You know what I'm saying? When I seen Jed Spence have that match against Argentina, where he's like man of the match for England, I just kept thinking like, damn, we was scouting that baller way back in COVID. You know what I'm saying? 5 years ago.
we weren't scouting him. We were talking about him on YouTube. But
when I say I mean us, not JFF.
Yes. JFF was the first team. We saw Jed Spence when he played for Nottingham Forest against Arsenal, I think it was.
Yeah, when he was swashbuckling down the wing.
Yes. He locked down Martinelli from that day, and then we talked about him quite a bit, but JFF never pursued him. Conversation was asked, because I was involved in this conversation was asked of him much later on in the process, but then he was waiting for England. He was then a top waiting for England.
Time they bust already. Same thing with Ivan Toney. I remember when Simon was doing those Thursday updates during COVID. Ivan Toney came into his Instagram live. Like the real Ivan Toney came in to watch what Simon was saying. So we were having some kind of effect, but the federation wasn't, up to speed, man. I mean, this is what we got to do now is find that next Jed Spence, Ivan Toney's. They're out there, because go look on Transfer Market. It's 10 pages deep of people who have,
Well, I'm hoping like a Courtney Clark can be one of those people. I'm hoping Tyrese Hall can be one of those people. Well, Tyrese Hall is not fully capped yet, because I think he played 2 games under 21. So let's hope so he doesn't change his mind based on his experience. But no, Tyrese is a good kid and a good player. And
what's up with the youth from PSV? What's his name? Noah Fernandez or something like that. You ever seen that you on Transfer Market?
No, I haven't seen him.
Check him. He plays for PSV Eindhoven, and he's like 19, 20. He's Belgium and Jamaican ancestry, and he worth like 4 million, transfer value right now, and he's only like 19.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him actually.
I'll send you his thing. He plays midfield. He plays CM and attacking mid. I mean, that's somebody we should.
We've been talking about Janeiro Johnson for the longest, but the Jamaica Football Federation didn't bring him and Tyrese Hall in for the under-20 actually. The same under-20 team that got the beautiful score line 15-0. Tyrese Hall and Janeiro Johnson were on that list of players who wanted to come play and didn't get a chance to play.
Madness.
Yeah, it's madness. But hey,
what are you gonna do? But yo, Kranky, big up yourself,
Thanks,
man. I'm glad you're back in the, what I'm saying, back on the air and stuff. So enough respect.
All right, bless up. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. All right, everyone. I'm gonna click it down. But you see my preliminary team, as I said, take out Brandon Cooper and put Brandon Cover there. That's the preliminary team. That team gets revised as time progresses, and we learn who are available and who is playing and who may be new recruits. I think there are a few being pursued. We see that happen. And are we going to get the Max Aarons of the world? Are we going to get Lewis Bakers of the world come in? Should have his papers by now. Are we going to get the Janeiro Johnsons of the world? And will they be part of any 26 or 23-man squad? Von asking, where's the best position for Tyrese Hall in this Reggae Boyz squad? Tyrese is an 8 or a 10 now. Him saying he can play 6, but I think he's more of an 8 or a 10. Probably more 8 than 10, but it's an 8 or a 10. He's very comfortable in the ball and can go box to box. Even though McLaren thought Tyrese Hall didn't play any defense. And then somebody from the JFF told me that that's not true because they watch him play, which is McLaren was just you know what, I won't even go there. But but thanks everyone for being here. It's good to be back. I'm back in my hometown of New York. I'll be doing more programming. And please, people, go subscribe to my channel. If you like to watch reaction videos, which is what I'm planning to do. As I said, it may shut the channel down, but for now, it's still working. Let's hope it lasts more than a few weeks. But I'm doing what I call reaction videos on this channel. Cover a lot of different topics. So subscribe to the channel. Not gonna hurt you people. Just subscribe. Just click on the link and subscribe to the channel. But thanks for being here. I hope I wasn't too cranky tonight. I don't think I was overly cranky, actually. It's been my normal self. Well, Nitro, we hope so, Nitro, but we'll see what happens. And they're young too. They're babies. They could be in the midfield for the next 10 years if they both play for us for a long period. And if the JFF step up their game in terms of how they engage players. And every time I hear JFF talk about players, they never talk about the diaspora players. All they talk about is locally born players, as if diaspora players don't exist. And I hear from the president, I hear from all of them, and I laugh when I see it. Because then they're not encouraging any other player to come play the football. I hear him talk about Bunny Shaw, great, love Bunny. You talk about Brown, yes, love her, but no other women's team. You know, the super system of Jamaica from ever, and I produce like anybody else, get no love. But I don't know how it work. The xenophobia, it's not even xenophobia. The lack of thought is startling. It's just unbelievable. The lack of perceptiveness, it's shocking. But it's not going to change. Okay? If you don't have it, you don't have it. If you don't have a vision, you can't think big, it's not going to happen, no matter how much you try. If you're siloed into your little world, you have blinkers on, it ain't going to change. So can't expect better. If you can, the better. But anyway, before you leave, people, hit the like button, subscribe, and share the channel. We're back again, as my youth from the old AFTV should say. We're back again. And I appreciate your service. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate supporting the channel. And keep on supporting the channel. We're doing much shows, right? We're doing much more YouTube shows, even though sometimes it takes longer than I thought, than I wanted to. But I appreciate you. So peace out. Have a good night. We don't have any outro music anymore. Come on, some outro music. In watering, you have a potential best for right back. Well, potential nitro, potential. Right now we have Cover and what's his name around there? What is me around there? We have Cover and Ian Frey around there. So we'll see what happens. We have Limbakis too, but Limbakis have start improve when I play. Can I play some bush ball thing? Now work. So we have a lot of players in the pipeline. Last time Rudolph Speed pick his squad was 50 something, You have a lot of players. Some players are going to be moved on because they've exhausted their usefulness. We should pursue Ramsey to people. I don't hear him mention, but we should pursue Ramsey. Ramsey not getting an England squad. Ramsey's a very, very good footballer. We would think about players like, because he hasn't been capped yet, right? At one time they were capping everybody and their mother. I don't think Ramsey has been capped. But if you think about, they didn't take, what's his name to the World Cup from Nottingham Forest? Why am I having a senior moment? Midfielder scoreboard, double-digit goal. Gibbs. Then I take Gibbs White to the World Cup. And it starts him struggle World Cup. There are a number of players didn't get taken. They take on Palmer and Gibbs White. Ramsey not getting on game. We have to be able to convince these players. We're not pursuing. We're not the right people in the JFF. We're going to do the recruiting. They must come and go do recruiting. Only people like Devon Port up on the side and some other people who know what them name mentioned at the recruiting. But we don't have people like JFF, like Rudolph. Rudolph, give a call some people, Rudolph. Build some relationship, Rudolph, in England, and call some people. Your job, I feel your job, You want a job. You want to keep the job on a long-term basis. Call some people. People like Ramsey pursue. You have people like Ramsey in their midfield people. Them man, they have, as I say, Jamaica, a big baller. If you have Ramsey in the midfield who are playing off in Newcastle, was at Villa for selling because of financial constraint. Willa call leave go Turkey. Tonali gone. Ramsey up play regularly now. Gimaresh may gone. Same I play with Joel Linton on a more regular basis. Then bring in somebody from Monaco, but them still have a good more in the mix. If you pursue him. We don't pursue Hutchison because I have a bad experience. We don't pursue Tyreek Mitchell either because some people are joker. Can't say no more, but I'm a joker. We don't pursue some people. But we should pursue, I don't know about Jaden Bogle. I think we talked about Bogle before. But we need to pursue players like Ramsey. I know he was talked to before and he might say, he might wait. Not very on Christmas, but he now play for England. He might waste some time out wait for England. So, and it's at the right age. But anyway, have a good night, people. Thanks for being here. This is the Kranky man. Not being cranky tonight, but I appreciate you. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thanks again. Peace out. Bye for now.